You can S&D, Brian, because we are going live right at 12 noon. Yeah, we got to beat everybody here. I'll wait till somebody says, hey, Pugs, you're right on time today. Oh, Gary! Look at Gary, first through the door. Hey, Pugs, been a long time. Yes, it has, Gary. Welcome to the show. Cameron's here. What up, my man? All right. How am I feeling today? Because I've been sick all week. I know that's been like a real drag for me. I don't know about for you, but... So today I'm starting to feel a little bit better, right? Didn't take my pills this morning. It was so bad that I had to take these pills that I hate to take. And if you were with us for the previous 2 noon shows, you'll know that I vomited twice. Both sides. I was like, I gotta go. These pills make me sick. So I had to go vomit and I had to come back. I don't think we're gonna have that today. I think we're gonna have a pretty good day. I still feel like a bag of dicks. I really do. I don't feel good. But I can tell because having dealt with these allergies for quite some time. I can tell that it's getting better. It's getting better. The energy is better. The worst part about the allergy, the infection, whatever it is that it just drains you of all your energy because your body on a molecular level is just fighting this whatever, and then it gives you a little fever. Gives you a little fever about 100, 101. Why? That's how you know your body's fighting back. That's what a fever is. People say, fevers are bad. Well, they're bad, but they're also good. Because if you get fever, that means your body's going, let's do this, come on! And your body's fighting all the invaders. So that's good. No fever this morning. That's how I know I'm feeling better. It's like I don't think my body's in retreat because I'm actually feeling better. But there you go. That's my update. All right. What can I tell y'all? Here's what we do on this here show. As I see that everybody is late. 12:02. There's 7 people in the chat. Where is everybody? What is happening here? Hi, Byron. Or hi, Barney. Thank you for being here. It's not meth, technically, that I'm taking. It is prescription allergy medication. That is, technically, if we're going to split hairs, the basis for methamphetamine. So it does have some of the same effects. But no, I'm not on that today. Al is here. Hi, Al. I owe Al an apology. I got mad. I didn't get mad at Al. I just, I was like, eh. Yesterday I posted, there was this thing going around. Jim Croce, Jim Croce, the singer. He was trending yesterday for some weird reason. Oh, no, I know why he was trending. He was trending because somebody put a picture of Jim Croce up and said, do you know who this is? So that's like a little trick. So I was like, you know what? I make really a very small distinction between Jim Croce and Harry Chapin. I'm like, they're like the same person to me. So I put up a picture of Harry Chapin on my Twitter and I said, do you know who this is? To see if people would work. And Al Gamboa, right out of the box, he's like, that's Harry Chapin. And I'm like, there's no way. So I told him, nope. I responded, nope, even though he was right. So I'm sorry, Al. You were right. But it just upset me. Al, let's be honest. All right, you and I are talking right here. A couple of bros. Go way back, you and me. You reversed image searched that, didn't you, you freaking cheater? That's what you did. You saw the picture. You didn't know who it was. Just be honest. Just be honest. It will go so much farther in our relationship if you just be honest with me right now and say, Pugs, I reversed image searched it and it said it was Harry Chapin. Because that's cheating. You can't do that's not the game. And then Robin, another one of my friends on Twitter, Robin goes, it's Harry Chapin, but I had to reverse image search it. I'm like, oh, stop it. Can you just play? Can't we just have fun? Hi, Jen. Jen's here. Jennifer Hernandez. Whitney's here. All my ladies coming in. All right, Al. All right, Al, you know what? Because I put it to you the way I put it to you and the way you responded, he said, I am honest. I like Harry Chapin. Well, good for you, because there's a lot to like about Harry Chapin. And a lot to like about Jim Croce, for that matter. But we won't We won't get into that. All right, what we are going to get into is absolutely everything that is happening in the world. We do this show Monday through Friday at noon. It's called High Noon. And what I do is, this is what I do anyway. I wake up every day and I look at all the newspapers and all that. But I decided, what if I just compiled all the stories that I found? All the stories that aren't red versus blue, liberal versus conservative. What if I found all of like the non-divisive topics that nobody in American talk radio is getting into? That's what I do here. That's what this show is. So all of the things that are trending, all of the headlines, all of the things that people are buzzing about and talking about in the world that doesn't cause us to go, I hate that guy because of how he voted. All of those other topics, that's what we do here. We don't do divisive politics. I have no interest in that anymore. Except on my socials. Sometimes on my socials, I hate myself for it, and I delete a lot of stuff. But I try to be non-divisive. It's just sometimes it's hard, you know what I'm saying? So that's what we do here. We run through all the day's events. It's a nice little cheat sheet for you so that you know everything you need to know about the world that's happening around you, and not just all the stuff about Hunter Biden's laptop or whatever that is. I can tell you all about Hunter Biden's laptop. Yeah, but can you tell us about the latest whereabouts of Bam Margera? No, you can't. That's what you come here for. Come here for that kind of stuff. What's divisive about Bam Margera? Nothing politically. Actually, now that I think about it, there's probably a whole lot divisive about Bam Margera. Anyway, that's an example of what we do when we run it down. We run it down for you. We say, this is the big one that's trending, and then we go through all of them. And then at the end of this show, every day, Monday through Friday, noon to whenever, you should have a pretty good idea of what's going on in the world. However, before we go into today's events, what we like to do here is a little segment we call Erstwhile on this day. We go back through history. I just look at some of the events that help shape what this day has been throughout history. And we talk about them. And then we talk about some of the people who were born on this birthday, some of the contributions that they've made, good, bad, whatever. And then we go through the deaths and we mourn the passings of those who have left this plane of existence on this very day. And once we've got a full understanding of what this day has meant throughout history, then we jump into the topics of today. So without further ado, what do you say we get this thing started? It is high noon for the 27th day of April, year of our Lord, 2023. That means that there are 117 days remaining in this year. 170. No, I'm not on my medication, so I have no excuse. You know what I do need to do? I need to step away because I didn't bring my... I'm definitely going to need like some paper towels or napkins or something. So give me a second here. Let me just step over here and grab some paper towels because the old nose is already running. Look at this. I'll explain this. I'll show this to you. I'm sure you're going to be fascinated by this hot take. Excuse me. Man, I'm really sorry to have put you through this week with my hacking and sniffling and ugh. But as we reported yesterday in the rundown of events, it's the worst allergy season on record. They've never had this high of a pollen count. Okay, so look at this. Look at these paper towels. I got paper towels. Now, why am I excited about paper towels? Because I got rich people paper towels. That's right. These are rich people paper towels that I stole from the rich people house, whose property that I live on. Now, what makes a rich people paper towel? Well, first of all, it comes in like a bundle of like 18 rolls, right? It's like the size of a big screen TV, and it sits there in your closet. Poor people don't buy 18 rolls of toilet paper or paper towels. Poor people, we go to the Dollar Tree and we buy like one roll for 99 cents and it's like single ply. It's like half of what this is. Look at this. This is one paper towel. It's amazing. It's rich people paper towels. I am living the life, people. Hold on. I like to do this with them. This is a poor people trick. You can get twice as many paper towels out of this. Here you go. Look at this. See? Look at this. 2 ply. I'm getting a whole nother. All right, that's not working. My point is, I'm excited to be using rich people paper towels. I don't have rich people Kleenex. Rich people Kleenex is the Kleenex that's super soft, and it's got like maybe a lotion in there. Which I don't like the lotion. As someone who suffers from allergies, I do not like the tissues that have a little bit of lotion on it. You know why? Because when I'm wiping my nose, the lotion on it makes me think that I still got to wipe my nose, and I will wipe my nose until it bleeds. And then I'm like, damn it, it's the lotion. All right. Holy crap, I think I might puke anyway. I did not take my pills today. The pills that are supposed to make you puke. Yeah, Al, real poor people, maybe they steal it from Wendy's or McDonald's. Other people, maybe they just steal it all from their place of work or whatever. I don't know. Hi, Mike. Welcome in. Come on, pull it in. We're just getting started here. There are 117 days remaining in this year. There are 248 days. No, there are 117 days into the year, where 248 days remain. That's how I'd say that. Let me have a little hot tea. I am drinking hot tea today. Hot black tea. It's like nothing worse. Hot black coffee is preferable to hot black tea. Yeah. On this day, let's go through erstwhile. On April the 27th. On this day in World War II, Benito Mussolini is arrested by Italian partisans in Dongo while attempting to escape, disguised as a German soldier. Mussolini, that's how dictators go down, you know. I mean, you got, excuse me, we got like Hitler, who gacked himself in his bunker. You got Mussolini, who was dragged through the streets and hung up by the people of Italy. That seems like the better way to dispose of a dictator. What's his name? Gaddafi. Remember that dude in Libya? He got the Mussolini treatment. Gaddafi got raped by a gun before they killed him. On this day in 1953, Operation Moolah offers $50,000 to any pilot who defects with a fully mission-capable MiG-15 to South Korea. The first pilot was to receive $100,000. Look at that. They were trying to steal the technology. So the South Koreans were like, all right, we're just putting it out there. Any of you dudes that want to give us one of those planes, we'll give you $50,000 for it. But if you're the first to do it, you'll get $100,000. That's a motivator. That's a call to action of the highest order. Let's see here. On this day in 1967, Expo 67 officially opens in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, with a large opening ceremony broadcast around the world. It opens to the public the very next day. Oh, my goodness. World Expos used to be a thing. They used to be a thing because we had no idea what was going on in other parts of the world. But now with the internet, we don't really need world fairs. Isn't this the World Fair that the Montreal Expos were named after? I think it was. All right, that's it. I'm out on expos. I'm out on World Fair hot takes. On this day in 1976, 37 people are killed when an American Airlines Flight 625 crashes at Cyril E. King Airport in St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands. Now I know what you're saying. You're saying, Pugs, I thought you didn't do plane crashes anymore as notable stories. Well, I don't. But this particular plane crash, I actually know a woman. She was a girl. She was only like 3 years old at the time. Her entire family was on that plane, and she wasn't. She wasn't because she was sick or she had something that she didn't go on this trip with her family. I work with this girl in radio. When I found that out, I was like, oh my God. Like, I didn't know this crash. This crash isn't like a famous crash. But she's like, yeah, my whole family got wiped out when I was 4. I'm like, what happened? She's like, oh, they were in a plane crash in the Virgin Islands. This is the one. So that's why it gets mentioned. Thinking of you, Jenny, on this day. She's a wonderful radio salesperson. Actually, I don't think she works in radio sales anymore. I think she was really hot. So she probably just married a rich guy. That's the play for radio sales girls. They're all really attractive. And their job is to go and have, informal pop-in meetings in the middle of the day with successful businessmen who might spend a lot of money on media advertising. which is an expensive proposition. And then oftentimes they end up hooking up and getting married, and good for them. And I'm not saying that that's the whole, I'm just saying that's a nice side benefit of being an attractive woman who works in radio. Proximity to wealthy men who, you be flirty with. That's all I'm saying. On this day in 1978, John Ehrlichman, former aide to U.S. President Richard Nixon, is released from Federal Correctional Institution Safford in Arizona. He served 18 months. John Ehrlichman. Watergate. 2006, construction begins on the Freedom Tower. Freedom Tower. That's jingoism at the highest order. We don't even acknowledge the rampant jingoism and propaganda that we just put up with every day. Every time I see a friggin' lapel pin, an American flag, the only reason they wear the American flag pin, they did not used to look at anybody from the 1970s or 80s. That's a new thing because it's jingoism. It's like, we're going to go on one of these cable news shows, and the first thing people are going to notice about us is that I love America, so I must be an honest and forthright guy. That's the whole thing. It's just bullshit. It's not bullshit admiring the flag. I just, look, I've been pretty consistent about this. I don't like the idea of whoring out our flag. It's a bear can with American flag on it. I don't like, look at me, I'm wearing my tank top at Lake Louisville on 4th of July, chugging beers in my American flag shirt. I'm like, don't do that to the flag, man. Come on. I got my kid programmed so strongly with that whenever he sees a raggedy American flag, like driving down the street, he's like, they need to burn that flag. They need to burn that flag in a ceremony. That flag needs to be destroyed because it no longer represents. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Once the American flag is damaged, it has to be put down. It has to be put down, and like a racehorse, like a fine racehorse. And then you put another American flag up, a new one. A lot of rules, man. There are a lot of the flag code. There are a lot of rules about how we're supposed to treat the American flag. We don't do any of them. None of them. I mean, at the federal level, they do. When they raise the flags and all that, they do. It's a very big production, and they the flag and all that. But the bank, the bank in your neighborhood with the shitty tattered flag, they're not really doing it right. On this day in 2000 Freedom Tower. So there you go. The big new One World Trade Center is what it's officially called. But, we were naming everything. Everything that we were claiming to be American back then had freedom in front of it. We ain't serving French fries in the Pentagon commissary because they're called freedom fries now. Because the French. God, that was so stupid. That's where this completely ignorant of history attitude towards the French come. It came from that. It started. That was like when we hate the French because they didn't do exactly what we told them to do, which wouldn't have benefited them and their people at all, but would have benefited us, and they wouldn't do it. And now it's freedom fries. Like, yeah, okay. So let's forget about Napoleon and how he helped us. Let's forget about how the French helped us during the Revolution. Let's forget about all of that stuff about how they legitimized us. As a burgeoning young nation. Let's forget about all that. Let's forget about what they did in World War II. You know what? No, let's forget about what they did in World War II because nobody knows what the French did in World War II. They like to go with the narrative that they just ran. No, they didn't. It was a strategic retreat. De Gaulle ran the opposite, the resistance, the French resistance. Man, don't even get me fucking started on the French resistance. Man, that was an army that waged a war with any official capabilities. They were being run by a general at the Four Seasons in London. That's where de Gaulle had to go to wage and run the opposition, the resistance to the Nazi invasion. The French military couldn't stop the onslaught of the Nazi war machine, not alone. Nobody could. The Nazis have been building up that war machine for a decade. And they were just rolling through Europe. So, the French people were... No, they weren't. No, they weren't. French people were just like, okay, we're going to go along with this until we're not going to go along with it. All these great Allied victories and all of these great Allied accomplishments that we like to talk about in World War II, especially towards the liberation of Paris and all of that. None of that could have been done without the French resistance. So stop it with your freedom fries. And they called it Freedom Tower when it first opened. It's One World Trade Center. I got no love for the French people. I got no reason to lie. I just don't like the intellectual hypocrisy when it comes to what some people walk around thinking about the French government and their relation to the United States. They've always been our friends. They've always been with us. They were the first. They were the first people to be with us. That's got to mean something. It's got to mean something. I'm calling them French fries. 2011, a super outbreak devastates parts of the southeastern United States, especially states of Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, and Tennessee. You know, all the tornado states. 205 tornadoes touched down on this day, killing more than 300 and injuring hundreds more. Tornadoes, man. We had some weather last night rip through here. I always worry about weather this time of year. I mean, not that I should. Here in Highland Park, I don't think this neighborhood's ever been touched by a tornado. And it could. And I don't know. I don't know. I know that I shouldn't fear it. But, you know, Texas and tornadoes, and we get these crazy spin-ups. Let's do some births. How about this? How about a birthday born on this day in 1882? Ulysses S. Grant, America's greatest general, politician, 18th president of the United States. U.S. Grant, he's received a bump. Ulysses S. Grant, in his time and after his time in office, very polarizing figure. Well, I mean, look, he was the general that conquered the South. So for a lot of the people of America aren't going to like him just for that. So all of the early histories written about, the contemporary histories that were written about Grant at the time, where a lot of it was steeped in partisanship. A lot of it was, the narrative thread was about how he was a drunk and how he, soldiers under his command committed atrocities during the Civil War. I mean, I think we know that was on both sides. I love when people on the side that was enslaving other human beings calls the other side's actions atrocious. Hey, look in the mirror, dude. This whole war is about you guys. That's not what the whole war was about. No, look, it was a very complicated situation, but let's not kid ourselves. The major player in that whole thing was new states and whether or not they would be free states or slave states. No, it was about the... Stop it. Stop it. It wasn't about that. I like Grant. Anyway, the contemporary histories that were written about him were a little bit critical because of all that nonsense. But in, the past 100 years, the tide has turned on Grant. People are like, hey, he's actually a pretty good president. He's actually a pretty good president, and you know what? Let's just call it what it is. He was Lincoln's greatest general during the Civil War. He was the only one that was whipping ass in every battle. So, happy birthday to you, U.S. Grant. I don't know, you're one of my favorite presidents, but you're one of my favorite generals. I love the stories about Grant. Dude would just get shit hammered. He would get shit hammered and he'd go, let's go, boys! And he'd go in. And then he'd sit on a ridge side, with his generals having cocktails, watching the battle below. Oh, yeah, no, I don't think they're at that stage of the war. He was too important to be killed in battle, so he had to stay away from it. Born on this day in 1899, Walter Lantz. Walter Lantz. He created Woody Woodpecker. Woody Woodpecker. I love Woody Woodpecker. Woody Woodpecker to me is sort of the Kirkland brand Bugs Bunny. So, Kirkland brands, you go to Target and I don't know where it is. Where's Kirkland? You go to the store, you get a Kirkland brand shampoo. You didn't buy Dove, but you bought Kirkland brand or whatever. It's like the store brand of it. That's what Woody Woodpecker is to Bugs Bunny. And Walter Lantz created Woody Woodpecker. Woody Woodpecker is great. Woody Woodpecker is the second greatest cartoon character of all time. Bugs Bunny is, of course, the first. Flop sweats. I'm dealing with flop sweats. And you know what? I'm going to need a new rich people paper towel. Whew. You guys, I was feeling great. And then I'm here and now I'm sweating and I'm expelling all of this energy. I guess I feel great when I'm just laying in bed, moaning. So 3 days in a row where I'm going to puke? I feel like it. So the pills that I take, they make me puke. They make me puke because they drain everything out. And it sits in my stomach and it makes me sick. But today I didn't take the pills because everything was draining out naturally. So what I'm figuring out here is that I just get sick to my stomach because of the allergies. I'm doing that thing where you think you're going to puke, so you break. Gotta take a break. Quick break. I need a moment. I don't know if I'm going to puke, but I need a moment. Excuse me, folks. All right. It's okay, girl. Go ahead. Lay down. Apologize for the delay, but you know. It's like a commercial break. I do hours. Stream of consciousness with no breaks. So I feel so guilty when I do that. I'm sorry, you guys. Okay. Had to change my clothes after that one. That was a bad one. That was big. That was big without the pills. That was just natural phlegm and all that. You don't need to hear the nasty description of it, but oh man. This is, we did the story the other day, and I saw another thing pop up today. They did a thing on, I think it was the Today Show. Maybe it was Good Morning America. I don't know what's circulating today. They were talking about allergies, about how this allergy season, they had all these doctors on, they had like 3 allergists, and they're like, no, it's because of this and because of that. But at least I don't feel like I'm dying alone here. I mean, a lot of people are going through this year, and it's really bad. I can tell you honestly, this is the worst. This is the worst stretch of allergies. I put up with them so much that, they're just almost commonplace for me. Since moving back here to Texas, this weather is so crazy. I never used to get allergies in December, because everything's supposed to be frozen. No pollen, all that shit's dead. But I get it now. I get them all the time. And this particular stretch, which started last Friday, if I'm being honest, last Friday when we were at the old 75, that's when I started to feel a little bit ooky. So we're going on almost a week. It'll be a full week tomorrow. And I do feel better. Like I can tell it's getting better. Like I didn't take my pills today because I was like, I don't think I need them today because it seems to all be happening all right. The pills drained me out. So here's kind of what it is. Here's what's going on with the allergies in my head. If you guys don't experience this, if you do experience this, you know what it is. So sometimes there is a frozen block of concrete in my head, and that's all the stuff, all the sinuses and all that stuff. A big frozen block of concrete, right? And then that frozen block of it's phlegm, it's body fluids, whatever it is. It's frozen and it's solid and it hurts, and that's the pressure. That's where you start to get the little headache and all that stuff. Then that begins to drain out. Then that solid block becomes nothing but fluid. And then all of a sudden you're sniffling, you're coughing, you're wheezing, all of that shit. And then it just keeps producing, and and then these pills that I take, what they're supposed to do is that they're supposed to continue the process of keeping it from chunking back up, from becoming concrete again. But once you're in the ending stages of whatever this is, you're flushing everything out. Maybe my body's different. I don't know. We're all individuals, but that's basically what's happening here, and everything is coming out. See, it had been Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. It was just the hardcore pressure. It's like, ugh. So then I start taking the pills, and then... By the way, also, I've been telling you about the story about how the dog, every time I puke, every time I have one of these reactions, the dog has been running to my rescue. The minute I go into the bathroom and I start to puke, the dog comes running. She shoves her little head. She did it the first time. Then she did it yesterday. She did it yesterday again. She ran and she put her little head there. You know what she did today? She casually walked to the room where I was. After retching for 30 seconds, remember the first couple of days it was, what's that? Boom, he's in trouble. I've got to go help. And she ran. Not today. Not day 3. Day 3, she's kind of like, she moseys on. She stands in the doorway of the bathroom. She used to come right into the bathroom and put her head on my lap while I was puking. Today, she just walked into the bathroom. She stood in the doorway and she looked at me as if to say, is this like a normal thing now? Is this like because I can ignore this completely if this is normal? I thought you were in trouble. But now it seems like you're in trouble every day at this time. So that's the attitude I got from my dog. Our dog, the house dog. Where is she now? CeeLo, come here, baby. You don't love me no more? Nah, she ain't coming. All right, let's get back into it. I'm sorry, folks. Hey, if it's any consolation, yesterday when I took a little puke break, I overcompensated by doing a full 3-hour show. So, who knows how long I'll go now. I have a broadcast ego. I think that I now need to show that I can do this even when I'm sick. So let's do it, right? Ulysses S. Grant, we talked about him. Walter Lantz, we talked about him. I can't tell you how much better I already feel. I can't tell you. It's like I feel great. I don't feel queasy anymore. My energy level is back up. Let's see here. Thank you for the sympathies. I do appreciate that. Barney says the coughing is the worst. I used to cough until I passed out. Yeah, dude, I have had coughing fits with my allergies and all that stuff. I've had coughing fits where I thought this next cough is going to kill me. This is where I stroke out because they're so deep and they're like, it's crazy. You know, my problem last night when I was trying to fall asleep was that every time I would exhale, here, let me see if it'll do it now. Like I'm trying to sleep, so I'm getting comfortable, I'm trying to sleep. You know, I'm exhaling. But this is what's driving me nuts and keeping me up. Let me see if it's there now. Because I just puked, it might not be. But here, it's like. Do you hear that little wheeze? Oh, that wheeze drove me nuts. I couldn't fall asleep. I'm trying to sleep. I'm like, there's that fucking wheeze again. That's the worst part. The wheeze that stops me from having a restful night's sleep. Born on this day in 1922, Jack Klugman. That's right, Quincy. To those of us in Gen X, maybe Oscar, right? From Felix and Oscar, the odd couple. Jack Klugman, gotta tell you. Boy, I bet that man smelt weird, right? That guy smelt weird. You remember Jack Klugman? You can look at Quincy. He's just like 50 years of cigars, bourbon, and like bad hygiene. That's what I imagine being around Jack Klugman in 1988 was like. I liked him though. Seemed like a good dude. Seemed like a guy's guy of the era. Happy birthday, Jack Klugman. You're dead. You've been dead for a long time. Born on this day in 1927, Coretta Scott King, African-American activist and author. She is, of course, the wife of Martin Luther King, went on to carry on his message for decades and decades. Coretta Scott King died in 2006. Born on this day in 1932, Casey Kasem, American disc jockey, music historian, radio celebrity, and voice actor. He co-created America's Top 40. There was, again, I'll throw this out to you. You're a Gen Xer. Every off-brand cartoon that you and I watched in the 1970s, and by off-brand, I mean not Warner Brothers, not one of the big Hanna-Barberas, but every like off-brand, like Star Troopers, stuff like that. Weird stuff. I made that up. I don't even know. Prince Planet, or Speed Racer, a lot of the Japanese stuff, actually, the early Japanese animation. Every voice was Casey Kasem. Every single voice. Man, the voiceover checks alone that Casey Kasem was cashing in on a weekly basis just must have been enough to choke a mule, as they say. Born on this day in 1932, Casey Kasem, America's Top 40. There's the famous Casey Kasem rant. Everybody's heard it. Every radio DJ since 1990 has been playing the famous Casey Kasem rant. It's the one where he's recording the America's Top 40 and he's doing a long distance request. And he's like trying to be all, serious about it because the long distance request was a song being requested because the writer had lost their dog. It was about a dead dog. It was like, and now a long distance request. And they kept somehow screwing up the taping. And so Casey Kasem would go into this like, the dog was adorable. This whole story. And then, he'd notice something wrong with the tape, and he'd be like, what the fuck is going on? It's like Casey was ranting. Bob, get Bob on the line. Bob must be like the producer who fires people that Casey doesn't want to fire. Very funny. You've all heard it. You can find it. Just go on YouTube. Casey Kasem rant. Who else? Who else do we got a birthday today? Born on this day in 1941, Dallas Cowboy legend. That's right. The great Leroy Jordan, born on this day in 1941. American football player, Dallas Cowboy, Alabama, right? Played for Bear Bryant. Leroy Jordan, Cowboy great. Born on this day in 1944, Cuba Gooding Sr. Yeah, Cuba Gooding Sr. born on this day. Did you know there was a senior? I mean, you would have to think there was a senior because we all know about the Cuba Gooding Jr. Cuba Gooding Sr. was a singer. He was a singer in some R&B bands. He had, a couple of hits as a singer. Not a big, not like probably a nice life. Probably Cuba Gooding Jr. probably, had a dad who had a little bit of money because his dad was playing Vegas with his band and they would tour and stuff like that. Whatever. Cuba Gooding Sr., born on this day in 1944. Born on this day in 1947, Keith Maggie Magnuson, Canadian ice hockey player, Chicago Blackhawk great. I got a Maggie story. So Maggie was a regular on the radio show that I used to do in Chicago. So he was a regular guest. We'd come in all the time. And Maggie was a hockey player. Now, I'm not going to say this about Maggie, but I'm going to say this about, we're talking about Keith Magnuson. Hockey players are drunks, okay? I'm not saying Maggie is. I'm saying hockey players are drunks, okay? Maggie's a hockey player. So we were at this one, we had an incident. Oh, okay, so long story short, I got into a fist fight with Keith Magnuson, the guy whose birthday we're celebrating right here. Yeah, hands were thrown. It was stopped, but hands were thrown. Here's what happened. So the host of my show that I used to produce back in the day, Kevin Matthews Show, the great Kevin Matthews, he used to do a golf outing every year, and it was a very big event. And it was all the big celebrities of Chicago would come out and golf around. It was a big, giant party there. It was crazy. It was a whole weekend event. It was like there was Thursday night card party, Friday night. It's just a whole crazy weekend of events. Anyway, so at the end of all this, if you've been to a nice, fancy golf outing at a country club, at the end of all of this, they have a big dinner, a big banquet dinner. And, it's under tents out there on the greens. It's beautiful, beautiful. Bands are playing, very fancy, very nice. So the night is coming to an end, and I'm walking over to the table where my host is, the man I work for, Kevin Matthews. I'm just letting him know I'm going. I'm his producer, and I'm like, I'm taking off. I've been here for 20 hours today. I'm getting out of here. So I walk up to the table, and he's sitting at this table with an entire array of Chicago sports stars, right? There's you got Norm Van Leer of the Bulls over here. You got Jeremy Roenick, and you got Chris Chelios, and you got Keith Magnuson. Proby, Bob Probert was there. You got Kevin Butler, of the Chicago Bears. Jim McMahon. This is who's sitting around this table. So I walk up to this table. Been a long day, and I say, "Hey, boss, I'm leaving." I put my hand on his shoulder and I lean in. They're all sitting around the table drinking. They're fucking shit-faced. They are all shit-faced. And I'm like, "Hey, boss, I'm leaving." And he turns and he goes, "Oh, okay. All right. Thanks, man. Hey, did you, and he started, and as he started to engage me, my boss, as he started to engage me, Maggie, who was sitting next to him, stands up. Keith Magnuson stands up. Now, I see him peripherally. I'm like, what the fuck is Maggie doing? Maggie's fucking shit-faced. This could pop up. What is he doing? Why is he looking? And he's looking at me like, kind of like, you can't leave. Like that kind of thing. Like, you're going to stop me from leaving? What's going on? Like, what's going on? So I'm talking to Kevin, and I turn and I look at Maggie. I go, Maggie, what's going on? I go, what's up? And he's just glaring at me, like a drunk filled with rage. Now, understanding, I don't think for 1 minute this is real. And it's not. Just long story short, it's not real. Maggie's just doing a bit around this table of people. But he grabs me, and he turns me around, and now my back is to the table, and Maggie is standing in front of me, and Maggie goes, "Rah!" And he shoves me onto this giant banquet table surrounded by all of these sports luminaries. Table collapses, dishes go flying, and I'm laying there. And this all happened in an instant. This all happened in a second. So I am laying there looking at Maggie, who's standing over me going, "Arr!" And everybody sitting around the table is laughing. Because at that point, I was Pugsley the stunt boy, and I was supposed to do this stuff. And I was going along with it. I got it. I was like, it's a bit. No problem. I fell on the table. Not a big deal. Pretty funny. This will be a great story for Monday, right? Everything is content. So again, in the instant, as I'm still hearing plates crash, right? I look up and I see Maggie glowing over me like, in slow motion. And I see behind Maggie my friend Tom. Look at this! Look at this! Tom's mom is in the chat room. Sally McCowan Beller is in the chat room. Sally, you know this story about the time your son beat up Keith Magnuson. So, again, I'm laying on the table, and I see Maggie. Remember? Slow motion. Maggie's like, ha, 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 thinking it's so funny. What I see is my friend Tom standing right behind Maggie. And, Sally, think you can back me up on this? Sally's Tom's mom. Tom was what you'd call a biggin. Tom is what you call NFL caliber offensive lineman. Biggin. Tom is current. Actually, I don't know if I think he had been. He played college football. He's an offensive lineman in Iowa. He's a big, giant dude. And I'm laying there, and I see Maggie glowing. And Tom is standing right behind Maggie. Doesn't know. Tom's giant meathead. Keith Magnuson was a hockey player. I'm sorry. Hockey players on skates might be big, but in real life, not really so much, and certainly not as big as an Iowa offensive guard. Okay, so he's standing behind him. And Tom puts his giant meat hands on the back of Keith Magnuson and literally picks him up off his feet with his shirt collar, like he's from his little golf shirt, lifts him up. And now I'm seeing the reaction of all the other pro athletes, the old retired pro athletes who are sitting around the table who were just, that's so funny what they did to Pugs. Ha, ha. Slow motion. Remember, this is all happening in slow motion. Tom takes Keith Magnuson and basically just ragdolls him, just like this old hockey man, and just goes whop, throws him out of the way, puts his giant meat hook over the table, pulls me up, and we're now standing there, me and Tom. And look, I wasn't Tom, but I was never afraid to throw fists if we had to get into it. And, you know, when you have friends like Tom and my other friend Tim and Aaron and Chucky and all these other big, giant dudes, sometimes, you know, you have to throw down. So there's this minute. Remember, all of this is happening in slow motion. So now we're standing there. Maggie's been ragdolled. His hip is probably busted. He's an old drunken hockey player, right? So he's just been ragdolled out of the situation. So now Tom has picked me up, and we're standing there, and we're looking at Jim McMahon, Kevin Butler, Jeremy Roenick, all of these professional athletes, and they are stunned. They don't want none of this smoke. They don't want any of what they just saw from this giant 22-year-old college football player. And for a moment, Tom and I were just standing there and we're like, are we going to fight these motherfuckers? Am I going to lose my job? Right? Because this is my job. And I didn't know, and it was still a bit. So at that point, I had to be like, come on, we're kidding. Come on, Maggie. And I helped Maggie up, and Maggie's like, hey, I was just kidding, man. And they shook hands and all of that. It was so weird. But for me personally in my life, it was a moment of magnificent justice. It was just a moment of someone being a bully, and that's what Maggie was. Maggie was being a bully, and I know my role on the show. I was like, you know, producer, crazy guy, fatty, fall down, you know, that whole thing. Ha ha. I got it. That was my role. I love my role. I had a good time playing that role. But man, it was in that moment, I was like, you know what? That's it. Fuck with me, bitches. Come on, let's go. You guys want to roll? Parking lot. Let's go, Roenick. Let's go. You know, it was like, and nobody wanted any of it. I broke the ice by making it a joke. Tom didn't. Tom stood there glaring at all these motherfuckers. Tom stood there like, yeah, where we going? Where we going next? Jim McMahon, you're like half my size. You gonna fight me? You're half blind. That's my Keith Magnuson story on this Keith Magnuson's birthday. I do like Keith Magnuson, though. I mean, we were friends. He died in 2003. I don't know what he died of. Probably some kind of liver thing. I don't know. He was a good guy, though. He was just drunk, and he was playing a bit, and he wasn't really hating on me, but it got weird. Born on this day in 1951, Ace Frehley. Ace Frehley's another guy that I imagine you could just ragdoll. Ace Frehley of Kiss. Born on this day in 1959. Ooh, here's a legendary one. So how old would I have been? Trying to think like how old I would have been when I first came to know the magnificence of the birthday girl, Sheena Easton. Do you guys remember Sheena Easton? Strut now, ba-da-da-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. I don't even know what she sings. Did she do that? My baby takes the morning train. Is that her? I don't know. Sheena Easton was hot back in the day. Happy. What does Sheena Easton look like now? We gotta know what Sheena Easton looks like in 2023. Okay, is she alive? Yeah, she's still alive. I bet you, with what she was working with back in the early days, I bet you Sheena Easton still looks good. Man, I had a real crush on her. Look at that. When you put Sheena in, Easton is the first one that comes up. Apparently, not a whole lot of Sheena Eastons, or not a whole lot of Sheenas out there. I don't think I know another Sheena. All right, let's see what Sheena Easton looks like today. Yeah. Is that her? All right. How old is she? So she's 64 years old. Sheena Easton. Let's go through some of these pictures. What did she do? What did she do with Prince? Was that Sugar Walls? Was that the song she did with Prince? Prince wanted to bang her. Prince was like, man, I got to get that Australian girl to Minneapolis. Got something I want to show her. All right, here you go. Boy, Prince had that Hugh Hefner thing going on, where he could just look at any hot girl and go, "Want to be a star?" All right, so that's I guess that's a terrible picture of Sheena Easton. Too small. Look at that. That's like 1980 Sheena Easton. She was hot. Is that Sheena Easton? All right. Oh, she's 64, man. I mean, pretty. Okay, so not the 80s stuff messes it up, but at the time it was okay, and we were like, that looks good. Like, we used to think that looks good. Is that her? Yeah, all right, that's probably her. There she is. There she is. There she is. There she is, back in her blue boy. What else did Australia give us? Australia has given, oh my God, that's a draft. Hot Girls from Australia draft. Oh boy, that's one I'd be all for. You know that Elle Macpherson has to come in somewhere at the top of that draft. And then you got a couple of Minogue sisters that you have to factor in. Oh my God. Sheena Easton, born on this day in 1959. Born on this day in 1988, Lizzo. Ross says I thought she was Scottish. Is she Scottish? I spent my entire life assuming she was Australian. Let me see. You might be right. Because if she's Scottish, then she's like the hottest girl in the history of Scotland. Because I don't know. I don't really know that the Scots are really all that well known for their great beauties. Let's Google. Come on, Google. Sheena Easton. There we go. Strut now, put it up, no taking and no giving. Now, baby, what you taking me for? That's a good song, Strut. I don't think I've heard that song, Strut, in 40 years. I'll listen to that song today on Spotify. I sure will. Yeah, she's Scottish. All right, so she's not Australian. Did she ever move to Australia? Like, why did I think she was Australian? Life and career. Let's see. Born in Scotland, hospital, 6 children. Yeah. Doesn't say her. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe she moved to Australia. I don't know. But yeah, she's definitely Scottish. You're right, Ross. Thank you. You set me straight on that one. So I guess we won't be doing a all-Australian hot girl draft that includes Sheena Easton. We'll have to save that for the... Actually, we could do that. Hottest Girls Princes Bang draft. That's a draft we could do. Hottest Girls Princes Banged. And it's got to be known Prince bangs, right? It can't be, because I'm sure Prince had sex with a whole lot of people that we just don't know about. But it's got to be, we're drawn from the Carmen Electras. We're drawn from the Apollonias. We're drawn from the Sheila E's. All that stuff. That's the pool that we're going to draw from when we do our Hot Girls Prince's Been With draft. Lizzo. I said Lizzo was born on this day in 1988. Do I like Lizzo? I don't know if I like Lizzo. Now, musically, no idea. No idea what Lizzo does. How do you not know Lizzo? Because I ain't been in a club in a decade. That's how I don't know Lizzo. How's that? I listen to Spotify playlists that I've created based on music that I've had sentimental attachments with for years, and that's essentially all I listen to. So I'm sorry, no, I am not familiar with the body of work of one Lizzo. However, I am familiar with her because her personality and her pop culture imprint has sort of superseded her musical career. Lizzo's just famous, and I think I like her. I think she seems like a really cool chick. I think she seems really smart. I think she seems far more worldly and sophisticated than I think I would have randomly assumed, right? Girl from Houston, she does hip hop. I wouldn't think that she would be as cultured as she has shown herself to be. So I don't know. So happy birthday, Lizzo. I kind of like you. Born on this day in 1994. You know who else I like? Wait, I gotta make sure I get this right. Hold on. This is I have a list of my favorite Hollywood couples. All right. So this is a group of two people I need to add onto my list of favorite Hollywood celebrity couples. Let me see here. Okay, good. I want to make sure I got this one straight because I ain't been in a club in 10 years. I don't know the difference between, say, a Nicki Minaj and a Cardi B. They're the same to me. They're like the same kind of thing. They're like the Cardi B, Nicki Minaj. Now, I don't know. Well, wait a second. Which one does the song? Let's go to the beach, let's get you away. Who is that? I like that song. That's a good song. Me and my son were singing that once, and I was like, that's a good song. It's a fun song. I don't know who that is. So I like Lizzo without knowing any of her music, and I like Cardi B and Offset without knowing any of their music. I don't know anything about them. What is Offset? He's from Migos, right? Isn't he the guy from Migos? Okay, so I guess I know a Migos song. Cardi B and Offset as a couple are fun. I don't know. Are they bad? Do they get in trouble too? Because all I've seen are these videos that they make, and they seem to be like a really nice couple, a fun couple, like a couple that you would be shocked to go, oh my God, I could totally go out to dinner with them and then have a blast of a night. They seem like nice people. Maybe they're not though. I don't know. I just know that I saw a number of videos and I watched a sit-down interview with the two of them, and I thought, man, don't they seem nice? All right, so there you go. Happy birthday, Lizzo. Born on this day in 1988. Don't know your music, but I think I like you. And that's pretty good. Born on this day in 1994, let's talk about Corey Seager, Texas Rangers. How we feeling, Ranger fans? We're still about 2 weeks away from getting Seager back. He's got that baseball injury that I refuse to accept as an actual injury, which is the strained hamstring while legging out. You kidding me? You dudes are being, I don't even want to talk about what you dudes are being paid. And you're pulling hamstrings because you don't know how to land on first or second base properly? Is that honestly what's happening here? I watched, you have no idea how many of my team's baseball players over the last 2 years have missed a month of the season because they've pulled a hamstring trying to leg something out. That is such a pussy injury. Are you kidding me? Have you ever heard of a wide receiver pulling a hamstring running a route? I mean, that's not like a normal thing. Yet your dumbass second baseman is going to lose a month of the season because he can't run to second base? Look, I like Corey Seager, and I want him back. My anger is because I want him back. Bochy says he's begun baseball. Bruce Bochy, manager of the Rangers. They've done. He's doing baseball stuff. That's good. That's good. But he's still weeks away. And I'll tell you, the Rangers, what a fun start to the season. My two teams, the two teams that I watch pretty religiously because I'm a baseball dork. The two teams that I watch are the Chicago White Sox and the Texas Rangers. And I can tell you that while the Chicago White Sox have disappointed me and caused me great pain, huge amounts of confusion, I don't know what to do with this. I don't know what I'm looking at. I'm looking at all of these multi-million dollars and So that's been a real disappointing start to the season for me. Not the Rangers. My second team has been like, yeah, fuck the White Sox. Put the Ranger game on. Let's watch some guys who are having fun out there. Let's watch some people who are trying. Although, let's be honest, the last 4 days in Cincinnati have not been great. They have not been great. We got the Yankees coming into town. Could really use Corey Seager back, but Corey Seager is not going to be back. Corey Seager, happy birthday. Born on this day in 1994. Half game. Got a half game on the Astros. That ain't enough. That ain't enough, Ranger Nation. I'm sorry. Half game on the Astros ain't enough. Just ain't enough. Not with like 130-something left to play. Yeah, no. Maybe 140. I don't know. I don't know how many games in we are. I just know that my team is like 12 games under 500. They've lost. They have won. My team, check this out. This is a fun fact about my team, which, by the way, my team was supposed to run away with the division, and this was the year that it was all going to come. This is the rebuild is done. The team is here. They're going to run away with the division. It's a weak division anyway. They might even be able to stop playing hard in September. That whole thing, right? We were so arrogant. My team has not won a series yet this baseball season. All of the series that they've played, 3-game series, 4 games. My team has not won a series yet. And my team has not won 2 games in a row yet. 2 games. I don't remember the last time they won. I think they've lost 8 in a row now. And in the last couple that they've lost like 10-0, 8-0. That ain't just players not see ball, hit ball. That ain't manager. That is something fundamentally wrong with everything about my team. And then conversely, you got the Rangers, and they've been nothing but exciting. But I do have a fear that over the next couple of weeks, the Rangers are going to come down to earth a little bit. They're going to come back to earth a little bit. They started out really hot. But here's what you know about the Rangers. You know that they have the capability to be dominant. And they've played incredibly, incredibly good baseball. Surprisingly so. So you know it's there, and no team runs the table. No team dominates wire to wire. I mean, all teams are going to go through, 10-game shit streak, that kind of thing. So there's a lot to be encouraged about with the Rangers. I don't, Yankees coming to town. Yankees are like, in a death fight too in the East, so I don't know. Anyway, happy birthday, Corey Seager. You seem like a good dude. Actually, I don't even know why I said that. That's programming. I know nothing about Corey Seager. I mean, I know him as a baseball player on the field, but I don't know about his attitude or anything like that. I know his hamstring should have been better prepared for the season than it was. I know that. How about some deaths? Some people who passed away on this day. On this day in 1882, Ralph Waldo Emerson, American poet, philosopher, lecturer, essayist, short story writer, activist. He was all of those things. Most famous for his words, "I wish I was a fish." No, of course not. No, that's not him. I don't know who that is. Born on or dead on this day in 1965. Excuse me. Edward R. Murrow. How weird is this? 2 days ago, we celebrate Edward R. Murrow's birthday. I talk about, this icon of journalism and a cornerstone of everything the journalistic ethic is supposed to be about. Edward R. Murrow. The Edward R. Murrow Prize is named in his honor. I mean, he's the shit. He's the shit. If you went to journalism school like I did, he's the shit. So the other day, we talked about his birth. We were like, yay! Today's his death. He died 2 days after he was born. That's weird. That's, I don't want to, that means his birthday, was his birthday shitty? Wait, when did he die? He died young, so maybe it wasn't. How did Edward R. Murrow die? I believe cancer, but I'm not sure. Oh, let's see here. Ooh, death. Okay. A chain smoker throughout his life, Murrow was almost never seen without his trademark Camel cigarette. It was reported that he smoked between 60 and 65 cigarettes a day, the equivalent to roughly 3 packs. Murrow died at his home in Pawling, New York on April 27th, 1965, 2 days after his 57th birthday. His colleague and friend Eric Severide said of him, "He was a shooting star, and we will live in his afterglow a very long time." CBS carried a memorial program which included a rare on-camera appearance by William S. Paley, the founder of CBS. All right, so lung cancer, I'm guessing, at 57. Jesus, man. dudes of that generation. Where were parents? Where were the parents? Dudes of that generation were chain smoking cigarettes at 6 years old. Did they think? I guess when there's no food, right? How can there be no food but there's cigarettes? I don't. Dead on this day in 2012. Sorry, dead on this day in 2012. Bill Skowron. Moose. They ain't booing. They're saying Moose. Moose Skowron. Yankee great. White Sox great. See ball, hit ball, ball go far. That's Moose Skowron. Funny thing about Moose Skowron, he was a big banger. He was a great baseball player, like an 8-time All-Star. He's just a great player back in the 60s for the Yankees. Won a bunch of World Series with them, then returned home to his South Side home in Chicago and played for his White Sox for a few years. He's a bit of a White Sox icon because he's a neighborhood kid. He comes from, that area. Grew up in that area and lived in that area his whole life. So for years, right up until his death, he was a White Sox ambassador. So as a little kid, when I'd go out to like White Sox events, it'd be like you'd see Minnie Minoso, right? You'd see Moose Skowron, maybe Ron Kittle, these kind of guys. He was very cool. But he was named Moose. They called him Moose. Now, you would think that someone who hit ball, go far, is called Moose because he hit ball, go far, right? No, that's not why he was called Moose. He was called Moose because when he was a little kid, his mom gave him a home haircut. And it was a haircut that looked like Mussolini's haircut. And so he went to school and everybody started calling him Mussolini. And the nickname stuck. But his parents and his family, they didn't like him being called Mussolini. They'd be like, hey, Hitler. It'd be like if your nickname was Hitler. So they didn't like him being called Mussolini. So they shortened it to Moose. And Moose Skowron became a legend in Major League Baseball. Moose Skowron, dead on this day in 2012. Bill Skowron. All right, that's going to do it. I think that's pretty much it as far as previously, or as we like to say, erstwhile. On April the 27th. There you go. Okay, you feel all caught up? I do feel like we've got everything that we need to know to roll into all the things that are happening today. We're going to run through everything that's trending, everything, the current events, all that stuff. I'm going to give you a nice little cheat sheet here so that you're not walking around being accosted by people going, hey, did you hear about? And then you can say, yeah, actually I did because I listened to High Noon. High Noon every Monday through Friday, noon to whenever. Tip the show. That's how we operate this thing. Please drop a little something in the tip jar if you enjoy it. If you're a regular, share the show, please. This show runs on your gratuities. Tipping is incredibly important, especially this time of the month, because we don't know what's going to happen in May. Okay. There you go. You see that there on the bottom of the screen if you want to help out. We appreciate it. Let's get into the trending topics for today. Let me get something to drink. All right, first out of the box, we got to talk about why the Gulf of Oman is trending. The Gulf of Oman. Gulf of Oman is trending because Iran's being assholes. Yeah, Iran seized a Texas-bound oil freighter in the Gulf of Oman, surrounded it with their Islamic Republic Army, Navy, whatever it is. They surrounded it with their boats. They boarded it. They've taken all of the people on the boat into some kind of custody. I don't know if custody is the proper word, but that's what's going on there. And so now, here's the thing. It was in international waters. Well, I guess we say it's international waters. They'll probably go, you came too close to the coastline. And I don't know. We will never know whether or not, it's a legit stop or not. What do you mean they were in international waters? How do you know that? How do you? Because it's what I heard on Fox News. We don't know that. We don't know where they were. I'm not saying, certainly not defending fucking Iran, but I'm saying this is all very murky. And we sure as shit ain't going to start a hot war in Iran over something as murky as whether or not they were international waters or not. Now, here's another thing that makes it a little bit easier for us to ignore. Although this oil tanker was destined for Houston, it was on its way. It was flagged Marshall Islands. Okay, so it's not an American flagged vessel. It's a Marshall Islands flagged vessel. So it's not like the Iranians were being. It's like American. That's an American ship. Let's take it. I mean, they don't know where it's going. They just see a ship and they pull it over in the Gulf of Oman. So they see the Marshall Island flags. So they're like, oh, let's harass these people. They're the Marshall Islands. But it was carrying stuff to Houston, so now we have to be involved, and we have to be like, what the hell? The U.S. Navy has announced on Thursday that the Islamic Republic of Iran has seized a foreign vessel in the Gulf of Oman. The Marshall Islands flagged oil tanker Advantage Sweet. Boats have cool names. Boats and racehorses have cool names. The Marshall...
reasons why you should buy a new gaming PC from
Pop-ups. You kidding me? The Marshall Islands flagged oil tanker Advantage Sweet was taken by Iranian forces after leaving Kuwait on its way to Houston, Texas. The oil tanker issued a distress call during the seizure. The U.S. Navy's Fifth Fleet said Iran's actions are contrary to international law and disruptive to regional security and stability. Iran should immediately release the oil tanker. The incident comes amid wider conflicts regarding Iran's nuclear program. All right, so that's that. That's why people are talking about Iran today, or to a lesser degree, the Gulf of Oman. How about the Mother Tucker? Yeah, the Mother Tucker's still making news. The Mother Tucker made a video yesterday. Yeah, let's. So it's becoming more and more likely that Fox News does, in fact, have this opposition research about things that Tucker has done, and justifying why they felt it was, if not necessary, I don't know how necessary it was, but certainly doable to fire their number one star in an instant, really. It's like they didn't, there was no forewarning, he's just gone. And here's how, so a couple of days ago they said, well, Tucker's not going to fire back on Fox because apparently Fox has all kinds of stuff. Look, I know Tucker Carlson is powerful. Rupert Murdoch is more powerful. Okay, Rupert Murdoch is more powerful. I'm sorry. You're talking about Tucker Carlson, a guy who's popular with people in Alabama. Okay, he's popular in America. Ain't nobody in fucking France know who Tucker Carlson is. You know who people in France know? Rupert Murdoch. You know who people in Russia know? Rupert Murdoch is a powerful motherfucker. And I imagine, and this is all based, of course, on my research into Rupert Murdoch, which consists of me watching Succession, because that's everything I think. When I have to think about what Murdoch will do, I look at Logan Roy from Succession and I go, okay, what would Logan have done? Here's what I can tell you what Logan would have done and what I believe Rupert Murdoch would have done. Logan would have compiled opposition research on every on-air personality that he has. Every single one of them, just on the off chance that they get a little bit too big for their britches and they need to be knocked down a few. Case in point, the way they feel about Tucker Carlson. And I think that's what it was about. The reason we know that the opposition research story is probably true because there has been a non-stop stream of internal Fox News stories being leaked to the New York Times and the Washington Post about Tucker Carlson. So obviously there's more. There's obviously something out there that, they're trying to, say, Tucker, play nice. So Tucker did a big, much highly anticipated video yesterday, which is the primary reason why he's trending today. He made a video yesterday where he dressed his friend, he's like basically it's the first time Tucker has spoken since this incident. So let's watch Tucker Carlson. Let's see what he had to say. Because I think a lot of people were like, you got to fire on Fox. You got to, you know what I mean? Everybody wants that. So here it is, Tucker Carlson. Let's see. How did he handle this whole thing? Here we go. Tucker Carlson released this video last night. And take it away, Mother Tucker.
When honest people say what's true, calmly and without embarrassment, they become powerful. I mean, I lie. At the same time, the liars who've been trying to silence them.
All right, excuse me. My apologies. This is not the video that I wanted to show. So let's show the real video. That is from some left-wing hack who apparently is looking to embarrass the Mother Tucker. So, but here, we'll show his video. You know what? But I had already seen the video, so when I saw it, I just captured it. And I was like, I'll just show that on the air. I just assumed it was the one that I'd seen earlier. I do apologize for that. Let's see here. Hold on, is this it? All right, yeah, here we go. So we'll do this one. Fucking left-wing hack. Hold on. Thomas. Give me a second here, folks. I'm sorry. I got to do something real quick because I was duped by a crazy left-winger and his silly doctored Tucker Carlson video. All right, so here you go. Yep, we're ready. Okay.
Good evening, it's Tucker Carlson. One of the first things you realize when you step outside the noise for a few days is how many genuinely nice people there are in this country. Kind and decent people, people who really care about what's true, and a bunch of hilarious people also, a lot of those. It's got to be the majority of the population, even now. So that's heartening. The other thing you notice when you take a little time off is how unbelievably stupid.
Okay, when you've taken time off, dude, you put this out on Wednesday. You were fired on Monday. You took one day in between off. Why are you sitting here waxing poetic like you've gone on sabbatical for 5 years and have rethought all of your choices? But he can't help but be disingenuous. One of the things that you've noticed when you've taken some time off, like what, a long weekend? That is essentially what you've done, a long weekend.
Most of the debates you see on television are. They're completely irrelevant.
They mean nothing. Face.
In 5 years, we won't even remember that we had them. Trust me, as someone who's participated. And yet at the same time, and this is the amazing thing.
All right, I know some of you idiots might like him, and that's fine, and I say idiots lovingly. Look at that. You tell me you just don't want to pop this little motherfucker, this little heir to the Swanson frozen food fortune who was raised in prep schools, and I came up in a very middle class. No, you didn't. Your home that you grew up in just sold for $8 million. That is not growing up in middle class. Tucker Swanson. Tucker. By the way, your frozen meatloaf TV dinners suck.
The undeniably big topics, the ones that will define our future, get virtually no discussion at all. War, civil liberties, emerging science, demographic change, corporate power, natural resources. When was the last time you heard a legitimate debate about any of those issues? It's been a long time. Debates like that are not permitted in American media. Both political parties and their donors have reached consensus on what benefits them, and they actively collude to shut down any conversation about it. Suddenly, the United States looks very much like a one-party state. That's a depressing realization, but it's not.
Whilst I agree with everything you're saying. This is the most tolerable Tucker. Look at him. He's getting ready for me to punch him in the fucking face right here. He's like bracing for my fist to crack the bridge of his nose. He's right about everything that he's saying here. What's so absolutely gobsmacking about it is that he's one of the prime offenders of all of this stuff that he is saying is wrong. So that's interesting. You know how I feel about rich kids. And I don't know if you know this about me, but I really hate it when rich people try to tell working class people how to think. Here's what's in your best interest. And believe me, because I'm the heir to the Swanson frozen food fortune.
Not permanent. Our current orthodoxies won't last. They're brain dead. Nobody actually believes them. Hardly anyone's life is improved by them. This moment is too inherently ridiculous to continue, and so it won't. The people in charge know this. That's why they're hysterical and aggressive. They're afraid. They've given up persuasion. They're resorting to force. But it won't work. When honest people say what's true, calmly and without embarrassment, they become powerful. At the same time, the liars who've been trying to silence them shrink, and they become weaker. That's the iron law of the universe. True things prevail. Where can you still find Americans saying true things? There aren't many places left, but there are some, and that's enough. As long as you can hear the words, there is hope. See you soon.
Okay, so there you have it. There's the Mother Tucker. Sorry, I broke my sockets rolling my eyes. He's so disingenuous. If you can't see that, if you're just like, he's saying what I want to hear, so I'm gonna believe it. He is so disingenuous. He is so smarmy. Do you know what smarmy is? It's... Barney says, I don't particularly like him or not. Well, you should not like him. You should be able to see that he's a con man, that he's a rich person trying to manipulate the middle class for his own gains. You should see that. That's what's called a carpetbagger, Barney. And that's what motherfucking has been happening to the working class for about 400 years. And I'm going back about, 200 years before we were actually a country. It was happening then. That's the problem. 1%ers who somehow gain a perch, and then they are followed by all of these people who look at them and go, but I want to be rich too, so I'm going to do what? It's the mansion on the hill syndrome. The mansion on the hill syndrome is that thing that everybody does when they're young, maybe young married couples, you go for a ride with your girl. And you drive around the neighborhood you live in, and you drive past the most beautiful homes, and you say, you know what? One day, you and me, babe, we're going to live in that house. That's the mansion on the hill syndrome. You're not going to live in that house. The vast majority of you are not going to live in that house. All of Tucker Carlson's fans and diehards, and I'm not talking about the people who just casually watch him, because I know a lot of people who casually watch him who go, yeah, he's obviously, working a bit here, but he's entertaining. And he is. He's an entertainer. He's a terrific entertainer. But the majority of his diehard fans are people who are trying desperately to get into a country club that would never fucking admit them. They just wouldn't. They wouldn't admit them. Do you think that there's this whole weird thing, the manipulation of the working class that has driven me nuts now for about 10 years in this country? And it's not that I'm angry at the people who are doing the manipulating. I'm angry at us. I'm angry at the working class. I'm angry at you people for not looking at your neighbor who's in the same situation that you're in and going, you know what? Let's you and I cut all this bullshit out, and let's you and I think about how we can together, maybe you all work together and change things. But now we don't do that. We don't do that because I want to be like Tucker. Well, you know what? Tucker was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. He was funneled through the best schools, and his parents had connections, and that's why Tucker is Tucker. That ain't you. Your dad was a tool and die maker for 40 years, okay? That's the separation. We got to stop looking at these people of privilege and acting like they have the secret to the golden goose. They don't. Their secret was they inherited wealth and were given a platform. That's it. Oh, Tucker. Oh, well, he's a billionaire. He must be a good president. Fuck you. Running a society is nothing like running a business for profit. It's just not. And if you think it is, then you just don't know what a society is. Oh, Tucker. He is entertaining, though. He is good, man. He's got skill. He's got talent. He knows what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's doing. There you go. Look, you got a rant out of me. So Barney's question. I don't particularly like him or not, but do you have the same anger for Anderson Cooper? Fucking absolutely not. Anderson Cooper is absolutely marginal. Anderson Cooper is absolutely forgettable. No. You know who I've got the same hatred for? You know who I've got the same anger for on the other side? Al Sharpton. I hate Al Sharpton. I stopped watching MSNBC when they hired Al Sharpton. Al Sharpton is a bad person. Anyone who knows Al Sharpton's history knows the lengths that he went to in order to make a name for himself in New York rabble-rousing back in the 1980s. And I'm sorry, but I can't watch a network that would put that man on television and offer him some form of credibility. So, yeah, Barney, I would use that. I would say Al Sharpton, to me, would be the left version of Tucker Carlson. The reason Al Sharpton ain't as big a problem is because ain't nobody fucking listening to Al Sharpton. Nobody's watching him. Tucker's got all of you watching. And you're all going, he seems like he really has my best interest at heart. He seems like he really cares about me. Tucker Carlson would immediately wash his fucking hands after shaking yours. That's the kind of person he is. Maybe you don't believe that. And you know what? Maybe you're an optimist, but probably not if you're a Tucker Carlson fan, is all I'm saying. This is not about Tucker Carlson. This is not about, well, actually it is. It's about all of the package. But really, it's just, I hate him as a human. I really do. I hate him as a human. Remember he used to wear that stupid bow tie? Look how interesting I am. I've got a bow tie in 1999. That was his gimmick. That was his first gimmick. I always wear the bow tie. And that was back when he was playing the liberal thing on MSNBC. Do you guys remember that? You guys remember when Tucker was kind of liberal when he was on MSNBC? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was. Oh, but he's not doing a bit now. No, he's not doing a bit. He didn't just change his whole act because of the target demographic of the new network that he was on. No, he's just authentically that. But you know what, Barney? Look at this. Look at this. You know who I did hate every bit as much as Tucker Carlson? I know I used Al Sharpton as an example, but you know who I did hate every bit as much as Tucker Carlson? And I think 2 years of me ranting about this dope proves it. Don Lemon. Don Lemon is the equivalent to Tucker Carlson. That's what I would say. Although he didn't have any watchers or viewers either. But my point is, as far as just being so obviously disingenuous, that's Don Lemon. I look at Don Lemon and I go, oh, theater kid is now pretending to be a serious, concerned American citizen on TV. Oh, I get it. Ross Rubio says, I never heard the name Tucker Carlson until I started listening to this show. I love you, Ross, but that really says more about you. You know. Byron says, I think you and Tucker should get a hotel room for a couple of days. Yeah, well, he's paying, you know. That might be a thing. Although I can't promise that I wouldn't fucking punch him. He's got such a punchable face. Ugh. Do you guys know that I went to a military boarding school? I was sent to a private military boarding school for a period of time in my life. I don't know if I've talked about this. Here I am, this blue-collar kid from a single mom family, and all of a sudden I'm thrown into this, dormitory style. I'm like in 7th grade, thrown into this dormitory-style living thing with a whole bunch of super rich kids who are going to, this private, boarding school. That's where my hatred for rich kids started. I saw how awful they were from the very fucking beginning. I got into so many fights. I only lasted 9 months there. I didn't last long. Finally, my mom was like, yeah, you know what? You gotta get it. Why? Because I was throwing fucking hands with little rich bitches all the time. That's why. So please, don't act like his hatred of Tucker Carlson is over politics. No, it's really over him being a rich kid. That's really what it is, because I know what rich kids are like. And again, I will quote the great Bill Murray, who was once asked on the golf course why he spends so much time on the golf course. His response, without missing a beat, was, because I got nothing but rich kids living at my house. And I don't want to live with rich kids. Bill Murray, he gets it. Rich kids suck. Oh, this neighborhood, rich kids suck. Oh my God. Snotty, little. I'll tell you what, rich kids, you know when rich kids are all right? Rich kids are all right when they're under 8. Then they're cute. Their little bow ties and their little outfits. They're cute. Man, once they realize that there is a pecking order in society, man, nothing worse than a 12-year-old rich kid. 12-year-old rich kid who knows that. I got a couple examples, but I won't share it. All right, let's see. What else do we have here? What else is happening? So, hey, you guys, guess what? Let me make sure we have this. Guess what? I feel great. Remember I puked earlier? This is a thing now. After I puke. How can I make myself puke before noon? Before the show actually starts. How can I make myself puke? Do I pretend to do a show, for 15 minutes and then, work one? I can't do that. It's got to happen naturally. I feel great, just like yesterday, after I puked. And it's 1:35. 1:35. And we've still got another hour to go. Look at me overcompensating because I feel guilty about taking a 5-minute break to vomit. Puke and rally, baby. That's right, Byron. Pretty proud of that. He has Barney says he has the face of a not so cute puppy, one that someone else wanted and then stuck you with. Who are you talking about? Who are we talking about? All right, just jumping into some of these things. All right, let's move on. So the Disney versus Florida thing is getting really interesting because Disney has filed a lawsuit against not Florida, but against Governor DeSantis down there. And this comes on the heels yesterday of Nikki Haley campaigning. You know, Nikki Haley is a former Secretary of the UN, right? American ambassador to the UN. What was she? She was governor of South Carolina, but what else was she? She was something briefly in the Trump administration. Nikki Haley is threatening to run for president, which, if I'm being honest, I will listen to Nikki Haley. I don't really know much about Nikki Haley. I know that she is a minority woman who governed a southern state. Those are all very interesting things. She has said some things in the past that have made me go, okay, that's troubling. But I don't know. Let's see. I like what she said yesterday. And she said something yesterday that seemed to be absolutely 100% truthful. And that is very rare. During one of her stump speeches, she's raising money. She's running for president. She's raising money. And she gave a speech, and she was talking about Florida and Ron DeSantis. And they're all expecting Ron DeSantis to jump in, at least on the Republican side. And so she's taking shots at DeSantis. And Nikki Haley said yesterday, Disney, I just want you to know that if you get tired of all of this in Florida, South Carolina would love to have your 70,000 jobs. And I was like, yeah. Do you know how many other states? I mean, what is the calculus here? So Disney is suing DeSantis because they're saying that DeSantis has without doubt, damaged their business brand for political purposes, and it's for political purposes. Nobody in the state of Florida wants Disney to go anywhere. Okay, you understand that, Florida is Mississippi with nicer real estate if Disney isn't there. The entire middle of that state is dominated by Disney-adjacent things, whether it's all the different theme parks that are trying to, capture the overflow of the Disney crowds, all of the hotels, all of the restaurants, the entire city of Orlando in the Orlando metropolitan area is based on Disney. So there ain't nobody in Florida who really wants Disney to go away because Disney means way too much to not only their identity, but their state's economy. They get that. But the whole war against Disney is a culture war thing that DeSantis started. He didn't start it to win votes in Florida. DeSantis ain't running for re-election. He ain't going to run for governor again. He's moving on to president, so he doesn't need Florida votes. So he's going to war with Disney, even though it's not in the best interest of the people in Florida. But he is going to war with Disney because it plays well in Alabama, or it plays well wherever it's like, we don't like that they do gay day, right? So that's what he's doing. It's not a good play. It's not a good play. That's another guy. I don't know who's got a more punchable face. DeSantis, who seems like such a fraud, such a con man. How can you not see that? Or Tucker Carlson. They both have such punchable faces. Nikki Haley's got kind of a kissable face. Nikki Haley, I would make out with Nikki Haley. I would. She wouldn't make out with me, but I would make out with Nikki Haley. She's pretty cute. She's pretty cute. And she seems smart, and she's a capable woman, and I kind of like her. I don't know if I'm going to vote for her, but what I'm saying is I'm staying open. I am completely staying open. So Disney versus DeSantis. Disney is going after. Disney has also played this brilliantly. What is Disney's calculus, right? So Disney is like, we're in Florida. We've been in Florida for 50 years. We are totally invested in this place. This guy, this temporary governor, because that's what he is. Florida is a permanent Disney is a permanent fixture in Florida. DeSantis is a temporary problem. So all these people are going, well, Disney's just got to pick up and leave. It'll take them 3 years to pick up and leave. And in 3 years, DeSantis ain't going to be governor of Florida anymore. So they're waiting this out. So Disney's like, all right, we got to wait out this time. But they don't kid yourself. Disney ain't moving. There's a lot of people. Austin, Texas, I saw a story last week. Austin, Texas is trying to lure Disney. And I'm like, you got your own. We got our own problems here. Yeah, Disney ain't going to move to Texas. Not with all this abortion stuff going on and all this crazy. They're not going to give. Disney is not going to walk away from DeSantis and then walk into the loving arms of Abbott. That ain't going to happen. That is not going to happen. If Disney were to move, it would be from a state that basically bends over and gives them everything that they want, because they know that 70,000 jobs and billions in the local economy can change the history of the state, as it did in Florida for the past 50 years. That's why Disney and DeSantis is trending today. West Virginia. Here's an interesting one. Boy, it's not politics. This is political strategy. This is kind of interesting. Jim Justice, the governor of West Virginia, has decided that he's going to run for the Senate seat currently occupied by Joe Manchin. Oh, do I hate Joe Manchin? Joe Manchin looks like he smells like farts. He does. He's always rumpled up. You'd be in a car if you're in a car with Joe Manchin, you're like, what the? It's Joe Manchin. He's the one that let it fly. That's what he looks like. I hate Joe Manchin. I've always hated Joe Manchin. Joe Manchin is a dick. Joe Manchin's daughter is like a real piece of work, but we don't have to go into her. So Jim Justice, who is the governor of West Virginia, is going to unseat Manchin, which is cool. Good. Send that piker home. Manchin. You know how much money this corrupt... You used to be, I'm a progressive West Virginian. No, you're not. You're a money-grubbing fraud. I don't know how the hell your Democratic ass ever got elected in West Virginia, but you got to go, dude. You are trying to play both sides of the fence too much, and you're a complete fraud. I don't know anything about Jim Justice. I like his name. I'm Jim Justice. That's a good name. How do you not vote for a guy running named Justice? SpaceX is trending. SpaceX, remember SpaceX last week? They launched. They were trying. What were they trying to do? The heavy fuel rocket. Yeah. They tested this rocket. They wanted to have it circle the Earth or whatever. A super powerful rocket, like most powerful rocket that was ever built. The Saturn rockets that were used in the Apollo program are like firecrackers compared to this stick of dynamite, right? That's the difference. And that's why it's a very big deal. And that's why, for all the weirdness of Elon Musk and all the things that I have a problem with, I like SpaceX. I really do. And I think SpaceX is doing some incredibly important things. So we all got excited about the launch, 420. I think it was on 420 last 1 week ago. So we all got excited about the launch, and we watched it, and it went up, and it didn't work. It blew up. It went. You guys, we don't know dick about space. We do not properly appreciate the true accomplishments that science makes as far as space exploration. We don't appreciate them. And you know why we don't appreciate them? Because we're not impressed by them. Because we have had 40 years of space fights. We've had 40 years of everything in space, and we've seen that, and we just think it seems like it's easy because they did it in Battlestar Galactica. You know what I mean? It's like our understanding of how difficult getting out of our own atmosphere is. Our understanding of that is completely skewed because we watch spacey things and we think, that's easy. Fact of the matter is that within the last 2 weeks, the largest rocket, the heaviest fuel rocket that we've ever created, SpaceX, exploded about 5,000 feet above the launch pad. That didn't work. And then yesterday, the Japanese tried to launch a probe onto the lunar surface, and that thing fucking blew up. So look, we don't know what we're doing. We're not even close, man. We're not even close. We got to keep trudging ahead. So that's why I support SpaceX. SpaceX is legit as far as, the stuff that they're doing, the things that they've accomplished. Yes, that rocket blew up. Yes, that rocket did blow up. But that was a major accomplishment. It was a major accomplishment just to get it to fire off the pad. So now they work on why it blew up. But at least they know that it has the force to get them off the pad, to clear the tower, and then to get into some form of, what do they call it? Post-atmospheric trajectory or something where it would get it. And then it went, it went whirly-gigged and then exploded. But do not sleep on the accomplishment that got it to the point of the explosion. It's still a major accomplishment. So now, SpaceX is getting in trouble. There's a whole bunch of, people don't like Elon Musk. People don't like Elon Musk because I don't know. I guess he's been kind of polarizing. I don't like all the ads on my Twitter, and I don't like, so I got issues, but I've been pretty consistent. I think Elon Musk is a weirdo. Like, I don't want to be around him. Like, I just think, I don't think I'd like him. I don't think I'd have anything in common with him. He seems like he's a weirdo. He's a very strange bird. But I do support SpaceX. And there's a lot of people who feel he's a very weirdo. So anything that he does, you got to find a reason to tear him down. So, now there's a whole problem with the launch pad down there in Texas. I think it's Boca Chica or something, Texas, somewhere down there, way South Texas. This big SpaceX facility that they're building. Apparently, some of the debris from the exploded rocket last week rained down on a area that is deemed a state park in Texas, and it caused a little fire. A couple of trees caught on fire. Fire department had to be called. They put it out. Yeah, I mean, hellfire was raining down from above because a gigantic rocket just exploded and it landed on this park, and now people are like, this is not environmentally sound. Oh, stop it. Stop it. You know what is right now? You know what is environmentally sound thinking? The idea that we should really commit to finding another planet because we have destroyed this one. And I don't know that like 500 years from now, we're going to have any breathable air. Do you know how bad the air is in Texas? I was monitoring this because my allergies are affected by pollutants. Do you have any idea how polluted Dallas is? Dallas is one of the most polluted cities in America. It's not like California, though. California has the most polluted cities in America. But it's not their fault. They try to do everything. California's a valley. So any kind of emission pollution or anything like that they create in California gets stuck in this bowl between the mountains and the pressure of the ocean. So the smog hangs over California. So that's why they have a smog problem. It has more to do with the topography of the area than it does, just them all driving around in Hummers, But in Texas, we got the refineries. We've got the oil game. We've got all that. So Texas has really bad air. So now all the environmentalists are up in arms, and they're gonna try and make Elon Musk move. You don't want him to move. Was anybody hurt? No. So would a tree caught on fire? Nothing like this has ever happened before. This doesn't seem like it would be all that outside the ordinary. It seems like, so there was never a gator that was killed by, a rocket that went awry down there in Florida over the Everglades. So like a rocket never exploded. Come on. It's nitpicky. There was a small fire at a state park and it's Elon's fault because of that SpaceX. So I think we need to put him in jail forever. Obviously, that's not what people are saying, but I bet that's what some people are saying. I just haven't seen them. State dinner got weird last night. Oh yeah, it was a big fancy state dinner. Angelina Jolie was there. Hey, when your star guest list is Angelina Jolie and Chip and somebody, Gloria Gaines. I don't know who's Chip Gaines and his wife. Aren't they some reality stars? It's like Angelina multiple Oscar nominee, Oscar winner, film icon Angelina Jolie. And from TLC, these two people. I mean, that's weird to start. But it was a state dinner put on by the Bidens for the President Yoon of South Korea. And it got weird. They made it weird. All right, so here, this is what happened. Yoon gets up after the dinner and he makes a little. Actually, I don't even know if I have it. Do I have fudge? Yeah, no, I don't have it. That's all right. We don't need it. It was stupid. It was stupid anyway. He made it weird. It's on my Twitter page if you want to see it. That's it. Thank you, Frank. Joanna Gaines. That's who it is. Yeah, she's kind of hot. Not when she stands next to Angelina Jolie, but yeah, she's kind of hot when she's standing next to anybody else. What was I thinking? Okay, so the president of South Korea got up and he sang a song. He made it weird. Oh my God, he made everybody stand there and listen to him awkwardly sing American Pie. A wrong time ago. He started that and the whole room went, This is crazy. Great. Look at him. This is so unexpected. Oh my God. He is shocking the room. He gets up. He's like, I only know one song. You know, he's getting up. Very nice man. Seems like a very nice man. I only know one song, and I'd like to sing that song for you now. And the Bidens and everybody like, oh, he's going to sing? Oh, this is a surprise. Oh, we had no idea that he was going to sing. And so he goes into this, a wrong time ago. I can't remember when. It was just cute. It was like, he made it weird because, you know, whenever somebody starts singing and you got to stand there and you're like, is this a bit or is this real? Does this dude think he's a real singer or is he doing a bit? How do I react to this? And that's how the whole room was. So he finishes the song and they're like, that's so great. That's so great how a little South Korean man can come here to America and sing a Don McLean song. And Biden, how about that? How about that? How about that? Like he's fucking Johnny Carson. How about that? A big round of applause for you. Now remember, this is all so unexpected. This is, oh, you're going to sing? I didn't know you could sing. He's, wrong. And he starts singing and they're all like, wow, we had no idea. So it ends. Biden's like, how about this guy? We had no idea you were going to sing that song, American Pie, but we just so happened to have a signed Don McLean guitar for you. Here you go. The fuck is that? The fuck is that? Seriously, think about it. Think about it. They presented it like this was something that he just did off the cuff, that they had no idea that he was going to sing American Pie. No idea. And then what? Hey, what a fucking wild coincidence there, pal. You know, what is Biden trying to pull off? What a wild coincidence, pal. I just happened to have a Don McLean signed guitar signed to you. What? We had no idea you were going to do that song. Here you go, ladies and gentlemen. We're out of here. Good night, everybody. Your late local news is next. Doing the fucking Biden show with this guy. I had a problem with that. I had a real problem. That is so... See, this is what I mean, folks. Everything is a manipulation. They're all trying... They wanted you to watch the viral video that I refused to show you. They wanted you to watch the viral video of this South Korean president just shocks the room by doing something nobody ever expected. Well, somebody expected it, and not only did somebody expect it, somebody knew what song he was going to sing because they went and got the guy who wrote the song to sign a guitar for him. Hey, you liberals out there, you lefties, stop acting like it's only the right who does this fucking bullshit. Because it's everybody who does this bullshit. Because you know what the unifying factor is? Human beings are gullible. Human beings are manipulable. Whether they're on the right or the left, doesn't matter. You can work a human. You can make them think this isn't a right thing. Yeah, but MAGA, yeah, no, they do fucked up shit too, but let's not pretend like, you know, that's just their sole domain. There you go. He made it weird. He made it weird by singing. Nobody wanted to sit around for that. All right, what else do we have? All right, here we go. So this one's been lurking all day. Saw this before I signed on. Jerry Springer is dead. 79-year-old television shit talk pioneer, Jerry Springer, dead at the age of 79. Those of you who've listened to my shows over the years, you know that I have, I've had run-ins with Jerry. I've had a lot of run-ins with Jerry. As a matter of fact, one of the first time in the very early days of the Pugs and Kelly show, we were out on Rush Street with Jerry Springer. You ever been with Jerry Springer in a bar where you're sitting at the bar and it's just you, me, Kelly, and Jerry Springer? You're just sitting in a bar. Reed Reeker was there too, who was our bar. You're just sitting in a bar and you're just hanging out with Jerry Springer, and he knows you because you're also in the local Chicago media, even though his show is national. Jerry Springer was a wonderful guy. Jerry Springer was a really good dude. He was a cool guy. He was funny. He was charming. He made everybody feel... I mean, I'm not talking about what he did on TV. You can have your thoughts about, well, he basically made daytime TV a toilet. Who cares? It was fun, stupid TV, okay? Who cares? Stop it. Have you looked around the world in 2023? We have much bigger issues. So let's stop acting like Jerry Springer's a bad guy. Not a bad guy. Not a bad guy. A really good guy. A really nice guy. A really fun guy. A guy who enjoyed what he was doing so much. Because Jerry Springer got the bit. Jerry Springer didn't think that any of this was serious. Jerry Springer was just like, let's roll the dice. Richard Dominic is the name of the fella who is behind Jerry Springer's show turning into a... Because Jerry Springer's show was normal for like the first year. It was kind of like Donahue. He was trying to do like a straight guy kind of a thing. Hi, I'm Jerry Springer, you know that. And he was charming and likable. And he had television news experience because he was a Cincinnati newscaster. So, you know, he knew what he was doing on TV. And it turned out that he had that X factor and he was very good and very likable. And then Richard Dominic came on as executive producer of the Jerry Springer show. And he basically said, hey, Jerry, why don't we just fill the stage with the most unbelievable trailer trash and see what happens? And the rest is television history. And the Jerry Springer show took off. Now, all of those shows did that stuff. There were so many other shows. Daytime TV was just chairs flying left and right between 1992 and 99 or whatever. But Jerry did it first. That Jerry Springer show did it first. I knew Jerry Springer in the early 90s around the first right around the time that Richard Dominic, who was the executive producer of that show, came in and started to make these wholesale changes. And one of the changes that they made was Jerry would start doing local radio. So the Jerry Springer show was filmed in Chicago at the NBC Tower. Jerry, you know how at the end of the show they say, if you've got a heroin addict stepdad who you want to confront, give us a call. You know, they do that. Well, typically on national shows, when they do that, they're drawing from an audience nationally, meaning that when you find somebody, when somebody calls into the shows and goes, I want to confront my stepdaddy because he's a heroin addict. And you say, okay, where do you live? And they go, we live in Flagstaff, Arizona. At that point, the production team has to book an air flight. They have to book a hotel and all that stuff. So that's all unnecessary costs. So Richard Dominic came in and he had a new idea. And he's like, Jerry, we're going to put you on the Loop, which was the radio station I looked at. We're going to put you on every show on that station. That station is so big and powerful. All you got to do is talk about what you're looking for, and we can get people local. All of the most crazy people we can get, you know, all right, settle down, dog. What are you doing? We don't need, she just made a very loud noise. So to that end, Jerry Springer became a regular on our show. and you know, like I said, he was a great guy. He was a nice guy. It was always fun when Jerry was coming. Jerry's going to be in today. All right. So all of those trashy people, like all of those trashy people from the show, especially between the years of like 1995 and 1996, 97, because I think at some point Jerry Springer got so big that then they started doing national. But in those early days, all of those people were from like Central Illinois. All of those people were from like Northwest Indiana. Like all the super trashy people, they were all somehow in the media listening audience of a Chicago 50,000 watt station. So that's where they were coming from. And do you want to hear a fun fact about me regarding the Jerry Springer show? I have actually attended more Jerry Springer shows than episodes that I've seen. I have probably been to 100 Jerry Springer tapings. We used to go every single day. Everything. You guys taping today? Yeah, you're going to be there? Yeah, can we get those same seats? Because we used to try and goof around and get on TV. Hey, see, there I am. I'm in the audience. I'm pumping my fist. You know, I have participated. Jerry. I have done all that. I've been one of those guys in the crowd. They needed us. They wanted us to fill the crowd. They wanted to bring listeners and all that kind of stuff. This is in the early days of the transition when Jerry Springer was going from a normal Donahue type ripoff to something crazy. Jerry Springer died today at 79 years old at his home in Chicago. And it's sad because he was a good dude. He may have lowered the cultural standard in this country for a period of time, but you know, I can tell you from one-on-one meetings that I liked him. He was nice to me. He was nice to Kelly, you know, just Jerry Springer. All right. Bam Margera is trending again. Bam Margera was trending the last couple of days because there was a bolo. Be on the lookout. Everybody's looking for him. So Bam Margera, his brother, Bam Margera's brother, is apparently living in Castle Bam. Castle Bam is, if you're a Jackass fan, I guess it's a famous place. But it's Bam's house. They're in Pennsylvania, somewhere in the woods. I Google searched it, and I looked at it, and it's fucking gross. I mean, it's like I'm Bam Margera, and this is Castle Bam, and it's like it's a really ugly house, and it looks like a professional drug addict skateboarder has lived there for the last 30 years. You know what I mean? It's like it needs paint, it needs some work. It's just like really fallen into a state of at least according to the pictures that I was looking at. And don't kid yourself, Bam Margera's got money. There's money in being Bam Margera. There's money in getting kicked in the nuts. I don't know if it's commensurate with the with all that comes with it, because I imagine becoming a supreme drug addict comes with getting kicked in the nuts 500 times. I think that if you're someone willing to get kicked in the nuts 500 times, you might be someone who tries methamphetamine. Just thinking. So Bam Margera went and confronted his brother, apparently, over last weekend at Castle Bam. Bam's brother has been residing at the residence, and they got into a big fight. And there were some other family members there as well. I'm imagining a sister-in-law. Although, didn't they say there was something about a father or something? I don't know. Anyway. So, apparently Bam Margera, according to the family, is spiraling. And he came there making demands and all this kind of stuff, and a fight broke out. Bam Margera threatened to kill the entire family. I'm going to come back here with a gun, and I'm going to... You know, in 2023, you can't make those jokes. And then he ran off. He, ran off into the woods when the police came, because the family called the police. So he, saw the cops. He's like, rollers! And he went, and he ran off into the woods. The cops were like, where'd he go? And they're like, hey, he ran off into the woods. And the cops were like, I'm a small-town Pennsylvania cop. I ain't chasing that guy through the woods. Let me know if he shows up. And that was it. And they issued a bolo. And so he just got away because I don't know, cops didn't feel like going after him. And he was on the loose for days. And then 2 days ago, there came the story of the family of Bam Margera is really concerned about his safety. He may not be in a good mental state, and he is addicted to methamphetamine. You know, they put out this statement, which makes everybody go, all right, well, it seems like there are clearly lines here. One side seems to be rational and kind and talking about this, and the other one is Bam Margera, So it's like, okay. Well, Bam is back. Bam has showed up. Apparently he wasn't, there was a bolo out for him, but he turned himself into police. Where are you making that noise? Where are you, dog? Are you trapped? Did you fall into the wall or something? The dog is making these noises that are so loud that lead me to think she's laying right below my feet. CeeLo! Where are you? Oh, there you are. Okay, come here, girl. Come here. You want to go outside? Guys, I'm going to let her outside. I think she wants to go outside. It's 2 o'clock. Look at us. We still got stories to tell. We're still doing this. We're going long. Okay. I'm going to let the dog out real quick. Man, I also noticed I haven't been coughing like I was. It's like after puking up all that stuff. Oh, what's going on here? Why is this not loading? Okay. So Bam Margera turned himself into authorities in Pennsylvania today. Hold on, guys. I'm having difficulty. There we go. Okay, here we are. Bam Margera surrenders to cops in Pennsylvania after going on the run for 4 days. All right, let's get a look at this guy. Why not, right? All right, sure. Oh my God. This guy is just, he just does not look employable. That is all I can say. He does not look employable. All right, here he is. There he is standing outside the courthouse. Boom. There you go. There's old Bam Margera standing outside the courthouse. He put his good court-going shirt on today. He's holding up his papers. Bam Margera is no longer on the run in Pennsylvania, surrendering to face charges for allegedly assaulting his brother, and speaking out with details of how he says it all went down. Bam turned himself in Thursday, days after cops in Pennsylvania put out a warrant. Oh, boy. Okay. Sorry, I just got a text from my guy. All right, if my guy is listening, that is an affirmative, my friend. We can make that work. Okay. Bam turned himself in Thursday, days after cops in Pennsylvania put out a warrant for his arrest. It was Sunday when Bam allegedly got into an altercation with his brother where cops say he threatened to put a bullet in his head. The Pennsylvania State Police tell TMZ Bam appeared in court for his first appearance and his bail was set at $50,000. He is due back in court at the end of May. All right, so here's what Bam has to say about it, okay? By the way, Bam put this out on his Instagram, which you might be interested to know. His name on Instagram is Captain Creamstain. Captain Creamstain. Oh, man, Bam. Yeah, he's on brand. He's on brand. So Captain Creamstain, a.k.a. Bam Margera, he says this on Instagram. I just got out of the courthouse with my lawyers. Everything went great, and the false accusations of what my brother says are not true, and he will be sued for defamation as well as being evicted from Castle Bam sooner than later. So he's still pissed. So he hasn't calmed down. So whatever this was about, he hasn't calmed down. He goes on to say in this Instagram post, the reason this happened is because I read his phone saying he wants me back in California and he wants to find a way to 302 me. F him. What does 302 mean? What does that mean? Is that like involuntarily committed or something like that? Hold on. Let me find out what 302 means. There you go. When an individual is experiencing a mental health crisis, the following service options are available to them. Voluntary admission, 201, to a psychiatric unit in a community hospital. So voluntary admission, so you're a little bit messed up, which is what I really wish more people would do. I wish more people were able to recognize their mental fragility and actually take it more serious. There would be so many less assholes in the world if people just completely understood their mental state better than they do. We completely ignore it. We know about chest pains and we know about whether you're fat or skinny. Other than that, we really don't know much about our body, and we pay absolutely no attention to our mental state. There's just people, that guy's been an asshole for 50 years. Yeah, there's probably a reason for it, and he probably could have fixed that, and he might have had a much nicer life. He might have been a much less angry and bitter person if he had figured out the root causes of why he feels this way and then been provided the tools to be able to work through it. Because the brain and the mental state of the human being is so complicated and so important that no matter how good we feel about us as human beings, we can do open heart surgery. It just shows how much harder mental stuff is. I mean, this is the great unknown. This is maybe 200-300 years from now, there will be tried and true and proven ways for people to keep their mental state in a solid and stable place. But not now. Not now. So a 201 is somebody who seems to be self-aware. A 201 is somebody who goes, I really shouldn't be thinking that my dog is telling me to kill people. I should probably go down to the community hospital and say, here's the thing. My dog speaks English, 201, and then they'll just bring him in. I mean, if more people would do that, your dogs aren't talking to you. Dogs don't speak. So anybody that's having communications where their pets are telling them things to do out in the human world, 201 yourself. Involuntary evaluation and treatment is called 302. So that is apparently what Bam Margera's brother is trying to get him committed. Look, I don't know the brother. I don't know anything about the brother. That's a lie. He's Jesse Majera. He's his brother, and he's in some bands, and he's also been featured in Jackass and stuff like that. And he's Jesse Majera is his. He's got a bit of his own that he's working. So he's known, not as well known as Bam, but he's a little bit known. Having said that, though, all the shit that I know about Bam Margera, I'm just gonna take the brother's side here because, again, let's look at Bam. He has made some choices in life. Some of it, decorating his face with permanent ink. That's an interesting choice. You can break that down. You'd say, I wonder, did he have a pros and cons list when he decided to go in and say, give me an iron cross on my cheek? Or I don't know what he's got. Does he even have? I'm trying to see. He seems like a face tattoo guy. Oh yeah, he's got something above his eye, and he's doing like weird facial hair thing. Like he's got like a Burt Reynolds mustache going. He's got the neck tats. Neck tats are not good. Those are job stoppers. Well, face tats, but face tats are so rare. Anyway, I'm going with Bam's brother on this. I think Bam's brother is probably the one that we should listen to as opposed to that guy. Although now I gotta hold on. Now I gotta see what Bam's brother looks like, right? If I'm gonna use that as my criteria for choosing a side here, I think we need to know what Jesse Majera looks like. All right, here we go. Okay. He looks normal. All right, so Bam, so we know what Bam looks like, and Bam is saying, I didn't do anything wrong, or whatever he's saying. And his brother's going, look, I just want him to get the help that he needs. I think he needs to be committed. I'm going with the guy who looks like this, as opposed to the guy who looked like the person we were. This guy looks normal. There he is. That's Jesse Majera. There he is. He's a drummer. He's a drummer in a band, I guess. I guess that's him younger. All right, that's okay. That's an acceptable look for a young man of the time. There you go. See, he has no face tattoos. Look at him. Yeah, he's just a normal dude. No face tattoos. Look, he looks normal. And then you got Bam. All right, I'm going with Jesse. All right. I'm thinking that when I'm looking for the truth of what went down, I'm going with the guy without the face tattoos. But that's just me. I'm gonna give a little. I'm not saying I believe him completely, but I'm gonna give a little bit more weight to what he says than what the well-known meth addict, drug addict, in and out of here's a hop, tattooed on his face. I'm not going with that guy. Oh, this is fun. We got to see this one. Nate Diaz, my boy, Nathaniel Diaz. Nathaniel Diaz is trending. Nate Diaz of the Diaz brothers. Oh, Stockton's worst. Woo! You kidding me? So the Diaz brothers, if you don't know who they are, Diaz brothers are iconic, legendary MMA fighters. Two brothers from Stockton, California, who are tough as nails, man. These two brothers are badasses. They lose, but they lose to champions. You know what I mean? It's like when they lose to like an all-timer. And they win all the time when they're fighting non-all-time. They're good. I'm trying to say they're good. They're really good. A couple of very talented fighters as brothers. They're both old now. Nick Diaz is the older brother. He's in his 40s. They're both retired. They don't fight anymore. Nathan, who was the little bit, Nate Diaz, he's 38 years old, and he was down in, I want to say, New Orleans? Yeah, this looks like New Orleans. It's got to be difficult being one of the Diaz brothers, because the Diaz brothers are assholes. That's their whole brand. They're not. They're hard. That's what I would say. I don't know that they're assholes. They're hard. They have had hard lives. They don't trust anybody. They will look through you and size you up. You know what I mean? They're not, there's no warmth with the Diaz brothers. But that being said, they actually seem like kind of cool. Like they seem kind of like decent. Like I've seen Nate Diaz be in situations where, there's an obvious choice between right and wrong, and Nate has chosen right. I don't know that I've seen that with Nick. Nick seems to choose wrong. But anyway, in this situation, we're talking about Nate Diaz. Down there in New Orleans over the weekend, apparently there was some some boxing event, some boxing event that was going on. And all right, the dog just walked in because she can open the door. Remember, I had to let the dog in, or I had to let the dog out. Well, she just opened the door and walked right in. And although I think it's cool that she can open the door, she stands on her two hind legs and she uses her paws. And she knows that if she presses her paws, well, here. She knows that if she like presses her paws enough against the knob will, the combination of her jiggling the knob and putting constant pressure on, will pop the door open, and she walks in. Now I just got to teach her to close it. She doesn't know how to close it. You got to close this door, baby. You got to close it. Yeah. Oh, I know. I look at your tail going. Your tail is going because you're a happy girl. Okay. Stay there. So Nick Diaz is down there in New Orleans over the weekend, and he's at a boxing match. There we go. He's at a boxing match, sitting ringside as one of the celebrities. Hey, everybody, Nate Diaz is here in the crowd, and that kind of thing. Now, apparently down there in New Orleans, there is an, oh God, I can't even say, there is an influence, an Instagram influencer. An Instagram influencer who lives down there. I can't say that. I can't say that word. Who lives down there in New Orleans. And he's also a boxer. I got an Instagram and I want to be a boxer. I'm going to be a boxer now. So he decides, he tells his buddies, hey, I'm gonna show Nate Diaz how I can kick his ass. And I'm going to call him out here on the street. Nate Diaz is an animal. Okay? You don't remember what I told you about how they're hard? Okay, you don't challenge a Diaz brother, okay? Because and although I know I said that I've seen Nate was on reality shows. Nate was on The Ultimate Fighter. He was a coach. He was also a contestant at one point, so he was on a couple of seasons. I've seen Nate be in situations where there's an obvious right decision to be made and a wrong decision to be made, and I've seen Nate make the right decision. But that wasn't a situation where it was like somebody going, what's up, Stockton, bitch? I'm going to kick your... That Nate Diaz can't walk away from. I'm sorry, no matter how much hope I have for the Diaz brothers, neither one of them are going to walk away from that. If you call these dudes out on the street, you're going to the emergency room. My promise to you, okay? But Mr. Instagram, Mr. Influencer, I'm a boxer. I'm 1-0, and I could take Nate Diaz, and I'm going to call... Watch this video. This is what happened. Oh, goodness. People are so funny. Nope, not that. We got to go back a little bit. Here we go. Nathan Diaz on the streets of Nolens, Louisiana. Okay, let's hope you can see this properly. We'll break it down for you. All right, so what you see here is this is obviously Bourbon Street. And you've got two people that seem to be hugging here. Let me see. Yeah, okay. They're not hugging. They're kind of going at it. Wait, let's just watch what happens. Oh, yeah. All right, so see the guy in the hat, in the white shoes? Okay, that's I'm an influencer, and I'm going to tell Nate Diaz that I'm going to kick his ass, and we're going to get the reaction, and I'm going to get all kinds of hits. Well, he told Nate Diaz that he was going to kick his ass and that Nate Diaz was nothing, that he could take him and that he's a pro boxer and he's 1-0. And surprise, surprise, Nate Diaz was like, let's go, bitch. Let's go. You going to run your mouth like that? You don't have to say it twice. And at this point, the dude is like, oh, wait, I didn't expect you. This idiot didn't know that he was dealing with a Diaz brother. This idiot thought he was dealing with somebody who was going to make a rational choice that, wouldn't end with him going to the emergency room. But this guy decides he wants to step to Nate Diaz. And I'm sure that Nate has had a couple of beers. And he's 38 years old, and he's been on a contract with the UFC and retired for a couple of years now. So he's probably scrapping. He's probably itching for a scrap. So right now I love it. I've frozen this. I love it because the guy who challenged Nate is like, it looks like he's got his hands up. And he's going, all right, hold on, dude. And Nate is getting into that Stockton hybrid boxing MMA stance. Now, that's the thing about the Diaz brothers. They're incredible boxers, but they're also incredible, they're They're Cesar Gracie students, so they're also incredible ground fighters. But they throw hands. They throw hands with the best of them. Some people criticize their style of boxing. They're kind of slap boxers, but it's really effective, especially when utilized with a nice, solid ground game, a jiu-jitsu ground game. So they're really good. They're really well-rounded. So he's going into that stance, man. He's going into that. All right, yeah, this is that weird Diaz stance where we fight. All right, so let's see what happens. All right, so.
Big trouble in there! Oh yeah, Logan.
Okay, so now they're scrapping, right? So, all right, right here it's over. Now, the guy in the white shoes doesn't know it's over, but it's over. It's over for him because dumb guy in the white shoes gave up his neck instantly to a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. You don't do that. You never. I don't care if this guy, I want to be a boxer. I'm 1-0. That's literally what it says in the story that accompanies this. He's a 1-0 boxer. I'm a boxer. I'm 1-0. I'm going to step to Nate Diaz on the Bourbon Street. So he's dead right here. He is absolutely dead. You see, Nate's just he's got him in what is just a simple standing, like, I mean, I wouldn't even call it a guillotine. I would call it more of just like a choke, just like a natural standing choke. But let's see what happens here. Oh, see his head? See, this is bad. See where dude's head is? Dude's head is not in a position that is good for blood flow to the brain. So right now, what is happening with this hold is that there is no blood going to the brain. The brain, he has kinked off all of the shit that floods. When you don't get blood to the brain, guess what happens? You go to sleep. You go to sleep. So that's what's happening here. Nate Diaz. Okay, so now at full speed.
Yeah. Big trouble in there! Oh yeah, Logan. Oh yeah! Big trouble in there! Oh yeah, Logan!
There you go. That's unfortunate for him. All right, so now that you know the background, what is the current situation here? No, there is no current situation. Apparently that's just it. Are police looking for him? Hold on, let me see. Are police looking for old Nate? Maybe he'll pull a Bam Margera and turn himself in. Nate Diaz. Isn't that good? Good for him. Good for him. The very first Nate that comes up when you put Nate into Google is Nate Diaz, which is good. He's been arrested. Okay, bond has been granted and posted with full permission from the court to resume travel, which includes returning to Stockton today. We appreciate how we were treated by the New Orleans Police Department, the court, and their staff. That is the announcement made by the Diaz's 3 hours ago. This is according to Ariel Helwani, who is he's the chef. Helwani is the Schefter of MMA. So if you need to know any real, actually, I don't know, Schefter is sometimes a little bit shady, but Helwani is, when you hear MMA rumors, you wait for Helwani. You wait for Ariel to tweet about it to confirm that it's real. Nate Diaz was charged with second-degree battery after being involved in an altercation in New Orleans over the weekend. So there you have it. Ain't the first time old Nate's been involved in a situation where police had to get involved after a street scrap. Okay, so here's a weird one. This is an odd one. Yeah, I guess we got to show this one too. All right, so I'll show you this one too. We've got another death. Talk about this. Here we go. Yeah. Okay. All right, I'll show you this. Let's do this. So an OnlyFans model. Oh, God. I know. Instagram influencer. I'm a 1-0 boxer. I'm going to kick Nate Diaz. Yeah. So now we got an OnlyFans model. Apparently, what do you do? I'm a model. Isn't that a thing? Like, shouldn't being a model mean something, right? It should mean something. Like, you wear clothes and you walk runways and you appear on international fashion magazines. That's what a model is. But now it's like everybody. When I'm a Hooters waitress and a model. No, you took pictures in some creepy guy's garage. You're not a model. But now you got these OnlyFans people who are like, they're literally making a huge income off of being a model. So I don't know how to, maybe OnlyFans models are legit, especially the big ones. So here's a big one. OnlyFans model and Kim Kardashian lookalike. Christina Ashton Gurkani has died after suffering cardiac arrest. 34 years old, Kim Kardashian lookalike. It's her whole bit on Instagram, or not Instagram, her whole bit on OnlyFans is, do you wanna have a mutual masturbation session with somebody who looks just like Kim Kardashian? I know Kim Kardashian. Kim Kardashian and I are like this, and I'm the thumb. And I can tell you that this woman looks nothing like Kim Kardashian. This is such bullshit. This is like, I don't understand. So let's look at her. All right? Look at this nonsense. You see her? Look at her. I look just like Kim Kardashian. No, you look gross. You look like an alien. She doesn't look like Kim Kardashian. She's got a similar hairstyle and all that. Her breasts are like 85 triple F, just like Kim Kardashian. And her ass is like a dump truck. She's got like this massive, unhuman posterior that is totally not natural. And she has been this 34-year-old woman who probably, before she went through all of this ridiculous plastic surgery just to not look like Kim Kardashian, but tell people she looks like Kim Kardashian. She doesn't look like Kim Kardashian. She doesn't. And when you get to look at her face, it's like, yeah, okay, I can see you're wearing your makeup like she is, and you're really trying hard to look like Kim Kardashian, and maybe you could do Kim Kardashian impersonate, but you don't look like Kim Kardashian, sweetie. Kim Kardashian is one of the most beautiful women on the face of the earth. I know, because I'm her friend. Remember? Kim and I are like this, and I'm the thumb. But she doesn't look like Kim Kardashian. And also, this is gross. I don't know how close you guys are looking at this. I don't know how big your screens are. This is absolutely gross. That picture that is on the screen right now, this looks like this. Why don't I have sex with like a gorilla or some kind of like a simian that has a weirdly shaped, non-human-like body? Because that's what this is. This is not a human body. I look just like Kim Kardashian. No, you don't, darling. Kim Kardashian doesn't have absurdly huge breasts. You know what Kim Kardashian has? Great tits. You have absurdly large breasts, humorously large breasts that are not functional or practical in any possible way. Unlike Kim Kardashian, who you can just surmise it as. She's got great tits. Kim Kardashian's got a good body. Now, Kim Kardashian does have a large posterior. She's got a big butt. She's got a big bubble butt. She started that whole Kim Kardashian side. Not like this. This is absurd. This is like 3 times the size of Kim Kardashian's butt. So she died. I know I'm making fun of her and all that kind of stuff, but look, this poor woman, 34 years old, this is how she's living her life. She's going to live her life as like a Kim Kardashian clone. We had this before. We've seen this before. I mean, it started with the Elvis impersonators. We had people who lived their entire lives like Elvis, man. I'm just basically living it's 1983. He's been dead for 5 years, but I'm still going to act like Elvis. I'm going to live my life like Elvis. So that was a real thing. Then you had the Michael Jacksons. Do you remember the Michael Jackson guys? Remember the guys like, I've had 50 facial surgeries to look like Michael Jackson. These guys. So it's weird. So this isn't new. This isn't people. But man, this crazy chick, 34 years old. She's dead. She's dead. Cardiac arrest. Oh, it's so sad. She probably had heart disease that we didn't know about. No, she died after another unnecessary surgery. That's how she died. Gurkhani's family is now raising money to cover her medical and funeral costs. Did they raise money to cover her endless plastic surgeries? Why? She can't afford a funeral, but she can afford like obvious 10 plus breast enhancement surgeries? Gurkhani's family is now raising money to cover her medical and funeral costs, garnering more than $4,000 as of Wednesday. They said they are grateful for the support they've received and said Gurkhani will forever be our guardian angel. If you knew Ashton, you knew that everyone mattered to her. She was such a... Certainly nobody more than Kim Kardashian, apparently. She was the kind of person that would kneel down and talk to children at eye level. Is that some fucking special skill that we're all supposed to be like? She searched for the lonely person in the corner and made them feel special, as she has such a gift of connecting with people. Like a call girl in a hotel bar? Because that's what a call girl in a hotel bar does. They find the guy who's sitting there alone, and then they go. On many occasions, I've seen her turn her adversaries into lifelong friends, just after 10 seconds of pouring her charismatic joy, positive energy, and her beautiful smile that she gave to those around her. Her family continued, Ashton's spirit is in... look, I recognize that this is a young woman who's dead, and it's a young woman who's obviously going through some severe mental problems her entire life, because this is an indication of a mental problem. If you decide that you are going to have endless surgeries in order to look like Kim Kardashian, and you become obsessed with, I just need my eyebrows done again. I just need you to pull my forehead off. Just one more time. Can you just pull my entire forehead off? And then, let's rejigger where my eyebrows line is. Over and over and over and over and over again. And finally, her heart was like, I know you're only 34, but seriously, we can't have this many surgeries in this short of a period of time. And who is this doctor? Who is this doctor that... The 34-year-old model died April 20th after suffering cardiac arrest following a medical procedure that took a turn for the worse. It's very sad. I mean, it is sad. And so what is the reason that it's sad? Programming tells us to just go, that's sad. Because, right, somebody dies, that's sad. That's programming. It is sad, but why is it sad? Is it sad? Well, it's just sad because she was such a lovely woman. You didn't know her. What do you mean? You didn't know she was a lovely woman. That's some bullshit programming right there. No, it's sad because this is obviously a fucked up person who never got help. And she just kept getting the damn surgeries over and over again. That's why it's sad. It's not sad for... Think about it. Resist the programming. Resist the programming. It's everywhere. Any hot take that you have that you don't have to think about, like, oh, I got a hot take on this. That's programming. That's programming. You've heard it before. You've heard it said. You're going to rejigger it in your own mind. You're going to present it as something else. You don't really believe it. You don't even know that it's true. But you heard somebody else say it, and it sounded good, and now you're going to say it, and you're going to sound good. That's programming. You got to stop it. You got to start thinking for yourself. More about the weight loss drug we were talking about. The weight loss drug is, first of all, do you guys know what Ozempic is? Apparently Ozempic is a big weight loss drug. I mean, I know that I've seen the Ozempic commercials. Ozempic, right? I've seen those commercials. Oh, I got to get rid of this. I'm sorry. I'm sure we'd all love to look at this crazy lady's giant boobs for the next 20 minutes or so, but I'll get rid of that. Byron here's only one of her breasts were vaccinated. That's funny. No, wrong button. Sorry. Yeah, there you go. Sorry. I thought that was funny. Oh my God. Who's fighting here? Who's fighting? Why do we got Adam fighting with Jeff? I don't know what the hell's going on here. Adam defending models that'll never talk to him or me. Look at that? Is that what you're doing, Adam? Are you taking up for women who wouldn't give you or me the time of day because they're working at Hooters and going around telling people they're a model? No. A model in my day is someone who earns a living because they're beautiful and fashion designers like the way their clothes looks on them. That's what a model is. I don't know what all these other girls are. I don't know what they are. Okay, no, you know what? You're right. Let's go with the extremely liberal view of what a model is, according to what Adam Reyna said there. All right, so if you ever posed for a picture, guess we're all models. We're all models. I'm a model. I have been on magazines. I'm a model. I guess. But I would never have the balls to go around and describe myself. Yes, and I've modeled. I have modeled in my... No, I didn't. Modeled. I stood there and I held up a product and they took a picture. You're modeling. Yeah, but I'm not a model. So I don't know what Ozempic is. I mean, I keep hearing these commercials, and now apparently Ozempic is an obesity drug, and apparently everybody's very excited about it, and they can't make enough of the Ozempic. So Eli Lilly, we talked about this story a couple of days ago. Eli Lilly is getting into the... Hey, fat people don't want to work out? How about just take a pill? That's, fuck. I'm a fat person. And I know that I'm a fat person because I don't work out and I eat like shit. I know that. I own that. Okay? I also know that when I do eat better and I do work out, I can get to looking pretty good. I can lose some weight. So this whole idea of a magic pill that'll mean that we can all have abs. We can all have abs with a magic pill. No, there should be some work involved. There should be some pride of ownership. There should be some accomplishment. A diet and an exercise regimen, if nothing else, it provides you with an aspiration. It provides you with something that you're setting for. I'm just going to take my pill, and I'm going to take my pill while I sit in the McDonald's drive-thru, and I'm just going to lose all this weight. It's garbage. So Eli Lilly is getting in on the game. They're going to make billions off selling something that is probably going to end up in 10 years to cause liver cancer or something. But they're going to make billions off desperate people in bad situations who just need to lose some weight. And the world is going crazy for this drug. Oh my God, their stock prices. Woo! Look at that. As a growing number of overweight Americans clamor for Ozempic and Wegovy, drugs touted by celebrities and TikTok to pare pounds, and even more powerful obesity medicine is poised to upend treatment. Tirzepatide is what it's called, an Eli Lilly and Company drug approved to treat type 2 diabetes under the brand name Mounjaro, helped people with the disease who were overweight or had obesity lose up to 16% of their body weight, or more than 34 pounds over nearly 17 months. If I'm taking, see again, I see that because I know that if I run 2 miles a day and I restrict my calories to 2,500 calories a day, I know that if I do that for about 6 weeks, I'll lose 20 pounds. I will lose 20 pounds through the combination of cardio exercise and really eating good, like eating good fuel so that when I go out and do my run. Now, that's really hard. And that's why I'm a fat slob, because that's really hard. It's a dedication. To be in good shape, that's a dedication. And you know what? Those people in good shape, they actually should get a pat on the back. They should, because it's hard, man. It's hard to eat well, and you know how much I like cheeseburgers? You know how much I like pizza and noodles and cakes and cookies, and I love all of that stuff. It's hard. It's hard to live your life and just say, I'm not having any of that for 6 weeks. But I do know that over the course of 6 weeks, if I do the running and I do the limited calories, I know that I will lose 20 pounds in about 6 weeks. So think about that, 20 pounds in 6 weeks. Now, that'll be the initial drop. Now, it'll level off after that. I won't keep losing weight at that 20 pounds every 6 weeks clip, but I know that I can drop that initial 20 if I just do that. But 34 pounds in 17 months? That doesn't sound good. That sounds like this isn't working. I would think that I could lose 34 pounds in 17 months if I just cut out fast food. Like if I just stop once or twice a week going to McDonald's, I would probably lose 34 pounds over 17 months. but these people are going to become billionaires. The other thing that should be noted about this is that I don't think that this is actually for people like me or, regular heavy people. I think that this might be something that could be seen as maybe a life-saving pill for people who are, 800 pounds, those people. Now, those people are different. Those people, there's obviously something wrong. There's obviously something that I had a girl when I was growing up in the 1970s, there was a girl in our neighborhood. It was heartbreaking. She was a little bit older than me. She was probably 3 or 4 years older than me. But what is this? So we're going to say like 1982, 1983. 1982, 1983, this 14-year-old girl who lived in our town, she probably weighed 500-600 pounds. And you'd see her out, and it was just, my heart broke for her. My heart, even as a kid, as a 12-year-old kid, people are mean. Oh, there's that fat chick. Even as a kid, I'm like, that is terrible. There was something wrong with her. Like that's what everyone in the town came to learn that, at 15, you don't get to be 600 pounds just because you like cheeseburgers, right? So there's something wrong. So maybe these pills, if they're designed to help those kinds of people, wonderful. But that's not why Ozempic can't be found on the shelves. Ozempic is being used by everybody. Everybody's like, this is an easy way to lose weight. Take it from somebody who has been fat the majority of their life. It is not easy losing weight. It is a lifestyle. And you have to completely change who you are and the way you act in every moment of every day if you want to lose weight. And that is difficult to do. And that is why I'm fat. Because but at least I'm being honest. At least I recognize that is really hard. So whenever I see people who lose a lot of weight, man, I'm like, God, maybe over it because I'm jealous. I'm like, how did you do it? That's so impressive. What is Adam? Adam poking the bear here? Adam says they're not designed to make you lose weight, though. Well, we are talking about a pill that is absolutely going to be marketed as a pill that you will be able to lose weight. Now, the letter of your quote here is they're not designed. And on that point, you're absolutely right, because this Eli Lilly designed this for diabetes. They just found that, people also lose weight on it. You're losing sight of that there for diabetes. Diabetes is another thing that I have a problem with. And I blame America in general. I blame Iowa. Hey, Jeff Ballard, where are you? You got to take a beating for this one. Jeff Ballard and everybody in Iowa needs to take a beating for the diabetes problem in this country. The diabetes problem in this country comes almost entirely from our dependence on high fructose corn syrup. That's why. Now, if we were using natural sugars and all that kind of stuff, our body would have a better and more capable way of handling it. But high fructose corn syrup is like a whole new thing that the body has to deal with. And that's why the United States of America, which is, I think, the only country who uses high fructose corn syrup in place of sugar. I think most other places use real sugar, but we've got corn. We've got a lot of corn here, and guess what? Corn is sweet, and you can kind of get that sweetness out of corn, and you can use that as a sugar. Diabetes in America is absolutely outrageous. And then you see these people, and they're like, all right, I'm going to go on a rant here. You hear these people, and they're like, look at that fat person, man. Hey, put down the potato chips and, eat a salad. Okay, so first of all the products in America have high fructose corn syrup, so we're already fighting an uphill battle. Second of all, dude, poor people can't afford good food. That is just an absolute fact. Poor people shop at places that don't have fresh vegetables. Poor people in inner cities, they're called food deserts. There are no grocery stores. You get some guy, probably in the chat room, you live in the mid-cities. You're like, what do you mean there's no grocery stores in New York City? There's not a fucking single grocery store in Manhattan. There's not. There's not a single grocery store in the city of Chicago, or at least in the downtown area. So these areas are food deserts. And they're sure as shit not going to put up a brand new Whole Foods in a neighborhood that's really poor and impoverished. So there's this whole confluence of events that has led to the United States of America being the diabetes capital of the world. Starts with the high fructose corn syrup. Then it goes on to the fact that we just, we have an entire class of people in this country that we don't give a fuck about. And those people are all getting 500, 600 pounds because they're drinking the giant 3-liter bottles of orange Fanta that they get at the dollar store because that's all they have. Because why wouldn't they just drink bottled water? You think a poor person is going to buy a case of bottled water when they've got a fucking tap in their house? And in some places, the water is garbage. So you know what? That's why glug, glug, glug with the orange shit. But if you're into being reductive and you're into being mean, then yeah, you can just look at a fat person and go, fuck that fat person for being fat. No, there are a whole bunch of shit that goes into why America is so fat. A lot of it does have to do with personal will and willpower. And the idea that, as I said earlier, it is difficult to lose weight. That is part of it. But we're fighting an uphill battle in this country, especially if you're somebody of a certain income level. It's hard. It's hard, man. It's hard to get good food. I've been eating nothing but noodles since I've been sick. And it's like, I feel like if I don't get a salad or maybe a chicken breast, something in my system. Do you know what I was craving last night? You want to hear something weird that I was craving last night? And I don't have, because fresh fruit is really expensive. I was craving an apple. Like, did you ever just crave like a piece of fresh fruit? Because all you got are freaking, ding dongs or trail mix or, here, have some chips, have some Cool Ranch. No, I just want an apple. Man, I would just like an apple. But here's my problem. Here's my problem with apple shopping. I've got high dollar apple tastes. I can only eat the Honeycrisp. I will only eat the Honeycrisp apple. The Honeycrisp, a cold Honeycrisp apple? Oh, you kidding me, man? Right out of the refrigerator? Delicious. It's the greatest apple on the planet. It's juicy, it's sweet, it's big, and it's like $8 for like 3 of them. They're crazy expensive. Why? Because they know they're the best apples. Like these are the Bentley Rolls Royce of apples. Honeycrisp. I love them. I love Honeycrisp apples. You know what are garbage apples? The ones that we all grew up on. Here, have a bag of Jazz apples for $2. Yeah, no thanks. I'm just eating dirt. You bite into it and you're like, there is not a distinguishable flavor in this thing. And you just toss it. Jazz apples or Gala apples on sale at Kroger. Ain't nobody want to eat that shit. That stuff is garbage. That stuff tastes like dirt. It tastes like wet dirt. Honeycrisp. That's where you go. Honeycrisp. All right, so anyway, long story short, the Eli Lilly is getting ready to put this new drug on the market, and everybody's saying, buy that Eli Lilly stock. It's got to go through the roof. Although I would point out that if it gets to the point where me on my stupid stream is going, buy the Eli Lilly stock, it's too late to buy the Eli Lilly stock. If it's already reached my desk and I'm going, but it's too late. It is way too late. Yeah, what else do we have? Hey, this guy, some dude, this was actually kind of brilliant. I saw this, this was going on last night, like into the night. For crying out loud. I just lost my place. In Hollywood last night, some dude climbed up on top of a television station tower and wouldn't come down. He's one of these climbers. We used to have those. Climbers used to be fun. We used to have people try to climb Sears Tower in Chicago. You see people climbing. Dude used to climb the World Trade Center in New York. Remember, people climbers. So we had a climber in Hollywood last night, and he wouldn't come down, and he was up there on the sign forever. Not the sign. He was up there on the... actually, yeah, KTLA Tower. So he climbed to the top of the KTLA Tower, which is a transmitter tower, and he held up a sign that said, "Free Billie Eilish." All right, so I don't know what that's about. Is Billie Eilish being unjustly held in some Russian prison. I don't know why what do you mean free Billie Eilish? She seems, so that's what his big cause was. Just he climbed up on the top of this. I'm going to give you a couple of Easter egg clues here that'll tell you where I'm going. So he climbed up on top of the KTLA TV station tower, climbed up on top of a TV station tower. Gee, I wonder if the people at the TV station, especially the ones in the news van, might learn quickly that there's somebody on top of their tower and cover it. So he climbs on top of the KTLA, of all the random structures, he climbs up on top of one of the big media structures, and then he just, for some weird reason, is just holding a sign that says Free Billie Eilish. And then after a bunch of hours, the police were like, you got to come down. And he's like, okay. So then like at 9:30 last night, LA time, so 11:30 our time, dude climbed down. Dude's like, yeah, I'm coming down. I don't even know if he was arrested, taken into custody, whatever, probably. But, I can't imagine that's a big crime. Here's my thing. I think this is a stunt. I think this is a promo stunt. I think that whoever this person is, does Billie Eilish have a new album coming out? If Billie Eilish has a new album coming out and it ends up being called Free Billie Eilish, it's like, okay. He climbed on top of a television news tower, knowing full well that would guarantee coverage from that television news team. It just seems very much like something that a Hollywood publicity department would come up with as a way to sort of, let's get some non-traditional publicity, something like this. Because he gave no explanation for why he was just promoting Free Billie Eilish. You should go up there and listen to High Noon with Pugs. That would be nice, but I probably can't pay what a big high-end Hollywood publicity firm can pay a crazy person to do that. All right, there we go with that. All right. What else do we have here? We be running out. Hold on. You know what? We do have one more thing that I want to get to here. Guys, can you believe? Hold on. Okay. Can you believe I started out the show feeling absolutely like garbage, vomited, rallied, came back, and now we're doing another one of these here fabled 3-hour shows. Thank you. Thank you. You're too kind. You, and you. I'm totally energized. After like getting all of that, I feel great. This sucks, man. This sucks. Because I feel great, but then, at some point, like tonight at 11:30, am I going to get the chills again? Am I suddenly going to be like, oh, it's cold? And it sucks because it's my weekend with my kid. And although it isn't, he's not going to catch it. I mean, genetically, he could catch the allergy thing. But I don't think he did because he doesn't seem to have allergies. But he can't catch whatever it is I have. So that's not a reason. But I like if I'm sick, like if I was feeling the way I felt yesterday when I did the show, I'm feeling much better than I was yesterday. But if I was feeling the way I was feeling yesterday when I did the show, like I would cancel the weekend. I would say, hey buddy, we'll do it next weekend because I'm going to be no fun and you don't want to be trapped here with me when I'm just staying in bed and coughing and hacking and it's not going to be good. But I feel as of 2:50 p.m. here on the 27th day of April, year of our Lord 2023. I feel good. So if this is how I feel, then yeah, I can hang out with my kid. We can go to the batting cages. We can play baseball. We're in a big baseball weekend. My son, my 13-year-old son, has decided that he's a tremendous athlete. He really is. He's shockingly a tremendous athlete. And I can say with 100% certainty, he gets that from his mom. His mom is a tremendous athlete. His mom is a really good athlete. His dad, not so much. His dad likes sports. But his dad was always the most popular guy on the bench. That's who I was. I was like, keeping everybody loose. Let's do this. That was kind of me. My kid's a legit standout athlete. He's very good. He's dominant at everything he does. And here's what really sucks. He's 13 years old. He's better than me at everything. Shooting hoops, better than me. Hitting a baseball, which is what brings us to our point, better than me. And I used to be good at hitting a baseball. I could rake a little in a cage, you know. Maybe not in 20 years, but there was a time when I could enjoy myself in a batting cage. So my kid has decided at 13 years old, never having played organized baseball a day in his life, he's decided that he's going to do baseball. Football is going to be his spring sport. Wrestling is going to be his winter sport. And baseball is going to be his spring sport. So football, fall, wrestling, winter, and then baseball in the spring. I think that's great. And I think that's very important. I think every kid, at least for structure and stability and to have goals and all of that, I think that kids should be involved in some sort of organized program at the school level that requires them to participate in something after school hours. I think that's great. It's not just sports. Theater department, drama, debate, any of that kind of stuff, any of the extracurricular stuff is important. It's the kids who don't get that. It's the kids who just go home and eat a box of cereal, you know, and watch MTV. All right, sure, I'm describing me. People who went home and, you know, did that kind of stuff. I don't think they're served as well as those. So the 3 sports is what we're going for with the kid, and he's chosen baseball. He's 13 years old. He's never played organized baseball before in his life. Watches a whole lot of baseball. Knows a lot about baseball because his old man's a baseball dork, and, you know, we watch baseball together. So he wants to play. So over the past couple of months, I've been kind of acting as a personal coach, kind of just trying to teach him the fundamentals, you know, ground balls, pop-ups, you know. He knows the rules from watching the games. Like, he understands the rules and he understands the nuance. You know, he understands sabermetrics and all that stuff. Launch angle, you should see his OPS. You know what I mean? He knows that stuff, so he understands how the game is played. But I don't know if he knows how to square up on a ball. I don't know, you know, all those things. So we've been practicing. So this weekend, I need to be healthy enough so that we can do an entire weekend of baseball. You want to hear what that looks like? Okay, sure, I'll tell you. That means Friday night, cages. Pick them up, we go straight to the cages. He whacks some balls around in the cages, gets a couple swings in. Saturday, we wake up, we go to the park, we do fielding. He's shagging flies, he's doing all of that stuff. We do that for a couple hours. Saturday night, if his hands are okay, back to the cages. We go back to the cages. He can get in the cages for a couple more rounds. He's working on his swing, working on his cut. Sunday, it all depends on the hands, because the hands are going to be meats, right? Because he's not wearing gloves yet. I do not want him wearing batting gloves yet. Batting gloves are for people who know how to swing accurately. You need to learn what it feels like to have the ball go off the bat. You need to learn. You need to have that sting. You need to make your hands be all callous. My hands are ruined from bats. I want batting gloves. You don't get batting gloves yet. You know, it's like you can't, you're not ready for batting gloves. Once I know you can hit, then you can have, I know, I sound like the great Santini. I sound like, I'm not though. We enjoy it. We have a good time. So with the current energy level, I'm going to be able to do all that this weekend, and that's good. That's good. Where was I? I don't know. Byron says, tomorrow's my birthday. I expect a big show, maybe a Byron draft. Oh, Byron, happy birthday, brother. Seriously, happy birthday. We're all getting older. I know as we get older, people are like, their birthdays don't mean as much, and they should mean more because there ain't many left of them. I don't think I have as many birthdays left as I've already celebrated. Yeah, I guess, because I don't think I'm going to live to be 106 years old. So yeah, I guess that would be, God, I'm stupid. Why do I say stupid shit like that? What the hell's wrong with me? All right, dorks. Yeah, ready? Where's all my dorks at? Oh, hold on a second. Hold on a second, guys. I got a dog situation. Be right back. Hold on. Sila, come on. Is that you? Hello, baby. All right, I am so sorry. Yeah. There you go. There you go. All right, good girl. I can tell you the dog ain't used to these 3-hour shows. The dog is willing to sit in one place and be patient for 2 hours. The 3 hours, she's like, are we going to do this all day? Or am I going to go kill a squirrel? I got to go get a squirrel. There are squirrels out there. I don't know if you can see them out the window, but they're out there. And they're just walking around my yard. This is my dog talking. And they're just walking around my yard like it's their yard, and it's not their yard, it's my yard. So please let me go outside and kill some squirrels. Which is a really cute thought for a dog that is like 1 for 750 in killing squirrels. She's gotten one squirrel. One squirrel in all the time that she's been patrolling this yard. She's gotten one. And that was probably an old sickly squirrel. But, she's like, look what I did. She brings the squirrel, she's carrying it around in her mouth. She's like, look who's the boss of the yard. Meanwhile, I've watched her lose 700 times against squirrels. Like when she's just like, don't you climb that tree. And the squirrel runs up the tree. So I'm trying to create a little, create a little distance. But I'm going to talk about something that none of you want to talk about, but I want to talk about it for a while. I want to talk about it for a while because, like I said, I need my dorks. I need my geeks. Haven't talked much about it. They won't let me on the 9 o'clock show. They won't let me because they're dorks. They're bad dorks. I'm good dorks. I'm talking about let's get the good dorks and the good geeks together. They're bad dorks. They're bad dorks. E and James Parker are both bad dorks because they won't let me talk about tonight's NFL draft. Oh my God. Oh my God. You guys, we might just scrap the 9 o'clock show and it might just be me for like 2 hours just reacting to the draft and who slid and who fell. I am a draftnik. I love the NFL draft. Now I know that's just them picking. No, it's not. It's about hope. It's about hope. That's what the NFL draft is about. It's about hope. Who are we going to get? What guy are we going to pick that is going to, in 20 years from now, be somebody that I go, that's my favorite Cowboy of all time. That guy might get picked today, And it's like, these are exciting times, and it's all about where your team is. And my team in particular is terrible. And, we're rebuilding and we've got some very good things. Look, the reason that we're not angry terrible and the reason we weren't angry terrible fan base wise last year is because we knew what was going on. We knew what was going on and we knew it was going to be bad and we were braced for it. And we're like, okay, all right, we'll be good. But now that's different. Now it's changed. And so this is a very big draft for my team. It's also a big draft for the Cowboys. Although the Cowboys picking 26th. My Bears are picking 9. We were picking 1. We had the first pick, and then we traded it for a haul. So happy with us trading that number 1 pick. We don't need a quarterback. We got our quarterback. He's going into his 3rd year. We like what we see. We like his development. We're going to ride with Justin for a bit. So we don't need to take one of these quarterbacks at number 1. And, that's okay, because if Justin Fields shits the bed next year and we have to decide to move on from Justin Fields, we've got like 3 first-round picks next year that we could package for the number 1 that will get us that dude coming out of USC. There's a quarterback at USC. I can't think of his name. Anyway, can't think of his name. But he's a generational quarterback. At least that's what they're saying. So everybody's already looking to next year's draft and who they're going to be able to get. So anyway, my team's in a good place as far as the draft go. We've got a shit ton of picks. I think we've got like 13 picks. We got like 13 picks in a 7-round draft. That's like what? That's pretty good. We like that. And then next year, we've got even more picks. We've already got more picks next year than we do this year. And this year, we've got a lot of picks. So we're building up through the draft. So that's exciting. Cowboys are picking at 26. Now, I'd be lying if I told you that I was as plugged in with the Cowboys and the Cowboys draft. My son, by the way, my 13-year-old son, such a disappointment. Ugh. Tell you. Yeah, I say this after just, bragging about what an athlete he was and how he's the light of my life and I love him more than anything and all that. But he's also a disappointment. See, this is the complications of being a father, having a son. They're going to disappoint you. No matter how much pride they give you, you're going to be like, ugh. So my kid disappoints me because he hates the NFL draft. Although I don't think he hates the NFL draft. I think he hates that I love the NFL draft. I think he hates that his dad is like an NFL draft dork. He'll get there. Oh, he'll get there. But you know what his problem is? Part of my son's problem is that he doesn't really watch college football. He's not really into college football. And honestly, he's like been to more college football games by 13 than I had been to by 45. You know, I mean, he's been to a lot of college football games. He's been to three or four SMU games. He's been to a bunch of UT games when he lived in Austin and his mom was going to UT. You know, but he doesn't really watch college football. So maybe that's why he doesn't like the draft. Cowboys picking at 26. I do have a rant on who the Cowboys should pick at 26. And the rant is I'm biased. It's a biased rant. It's somebody who I would take at 9. Now, I mean, we don't need him. We don't need him. So I wouldn't take him at 9. But I'd certainly take him at 26. Or if he's available for us in the second, he's not going to be available because he's going to go in the first round. But that's Michael Mayer, the tight end out of Notre Dame. Now, I'm a secondary Cowboy fan. I like the Cowboys. I do. My son loves the Cowboys. So I've come around on being a Cowboy fan. I fought it for a whole bunch of years. But now, you know, because my son and, you know, we have fun together. We watch the games and we root. And he gets so upset when they lose. And although I find that kind of funny, I don't like him to be disappointed. You know, I don't want him to be sports ruined by the time he's 15, like I was. So Michael Mayer is a tight end out of Notre Dame. Cowboys need to take a tight end. I really think, you know, Schultz leaves a huge void, and there are a number of pretty good tight ends out there. There is the number 1 ranked tight end in the class is Michael Mayer out of Notre Dame. Number 2 is the kid out of Utah. The name what's his name? Oh, his name. It's a cool name. Kid's got a cool name. Tight end out of Utah. Anyway, those are the 2 that most people are saying that if the Cowboys are picking at 26. Michael Mayer may not be available. If not, they'll go with the Utah guy or whatever. But I would say that the Cowboys should choose Michael Mayer out of Notre Dame in the tight end position for a couple of reasons. And the reason I'm talking about this is because there's been a lot of pushback. I've been reading a lot of stuff from Cowboy fans like, I don't want no Notre Dame tight end. And I'm like, okay, you're stupid. That's like one of the dumbest statements that anyone's ever made. Notre Dame is tight end university. Notre Dame, going all the way back to Mark Bavaro, to Tyler Eifert, Cole Kmet. You know, we're talking about the guys who are currently starting tight ends in the NFL. Fasano, there's some big ones. Anyway. Notre Dame has a great tight end game. Okay, their tight ends step in and start day one. But I've seen every single game that Michael Mayer has played in his college career. Every single game. Because I watch every Notre Dame game. So I've seen Michael Mayer play tight end for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish in every single one of his college games. And although I don't know that he's the greatest college tight end I've ever seen, he's the best tight end in college football. The Dallas Cowboys, if they add Michael Mayer, you're not going to be worried about Dalton Schultz. And there's a lot of people, I don't want Michael Mayer. I want that kid out of Utah. Whatever, that's fine. But, you know, most of the draft, not most of, all of them have Michael Mayer rated as the number 1 tight end in the draft and the kid out of Utah at number 2. If you end up with the kid at Utah, I'm guessing that's because Mayer went. Mayer went before 26. But that would be my pick for the Cowboys. They could also go, Cowboys could also go young offensive line at 26. I would be comfortable picking an offensive lineman at 26. I am not comfortable picking an offensive lineman at 9. And this now falls into my whole Chicago Bears situation where I'm looking at my Bears who are picking at 9. The Bears are a terrible team. They were the worst team in football last year. Positional needs be damned. We have positional needs everywhere but the quarterback position. And quarterback, we've got quarterback and linebacker. That's really it. We don't have any needs outside. We have nothing but needs outside of quarterback and linebacker, and tight end. We don't need a tight end. Our tight end room is actually pretty good. And I suppose we know we could use some wide receiver help. Anyway, I'm getting in the weeds. My point is this. After I take a drink. I believe that you can get an offensive lineman in free agency. I think that's where you want to get your offensive lineman. You want to wait for them to develop on their rookie contract. Let another team see if the pick, because offensive linemen, man, especially rookie offensive linemen, they don't always become day one starters. In fact, some of them take a year to, they'll do some spot starts and all that kind of stuff. So that's why I would never personally, if I was a GM, unless you're talking about an absolute can't miss, this guy's the greatest left tackle in the history of Bama football, unless there's something like that. Then you have to, you can't be closed-minded. You have to keep, you have to be fluid here. But just as a nice little general rule, I do not want to take a lineman at 10. I'd rather get a guy who's a free agent going for a second contract who proved in year 2 and year 3 of his rookie deal that he is a good starting offensive lineman, and then pay that man. Pay your offensive lineman. But this idea of, let's get him cheap on rookie contract, I'm like, you're getting a guy who doesn't know the NFL game yet. And the offensive line, although completely overlooked, is one of the most difficult positions to actually master. Now, I'm not saying playing, to master in the NFL. The offense, especially how important the left tackle position is today. Have you seen the edge rushers that are in this year's draft? The edge rushing class is unbelievable. Freaks everywhere. Texas Tech, Bama, Iowa, Clemson, Georgia, all are producing day one starters at the end position. So there's a lot of good edge rushers out there. Cowboys going to take a tight end. Who do I want? I want the Cowboys to take Mayer. Hopefully he's available. If he is, Cowboys get him. I can be happy. My son can be happy. My son's also a little Notre Dame guy, and he's like, they better take Mayer. Mayer is so good. I'm like, he is. He is good, man. He's good. I'm sorry. We've seen him play every one of his college games. He's a good tight end. So who do I want at number 9? Adam says, Cowboy talk. We have a starting left tackle we drafted at 25 last year. We're saving $20 million a year now. You're just scared from your Bears drafting bad O-linemen. Cowboys have a much better success rate. I don't know that that's true. So Adam, because I got a couple names for you. Are you saying the Cowboys have never drafted busts on the offensive line? Because we got a free agent on the Bears right now who was a Cowboy bust. I do not want to get into an argument with Adam Rain about Cowboy linemen. Cowboy linemen are great, but look, there are general managers out there who will spend a top 10 pick on a rookie offensive lineman. That just wouldn't be me. So maybe that would be Adam, but that wouldn't be me. And especially when you're looking at my team who has so many positional needs. No, you're picking number 9, best player available. Chicago Bears with the 9th pick in the NFL draft, select. Oh, I want Bijan Robinson. Out of UT so bad. Oh my God. Bijan Robinson is a beast. Bijan Robinson is the best running back in the draft. And some people say the best overall talent in the draft. Bijan Robinson is a potential game breaker in the NFL. He is a potential franchise resetter. And when you team him with somebody like, I won't just say Justin Fields, although that makes me, just the idea of a moving Justin Fields with a Bijan Robinson now as a weapon, gets me hard. Excuse me, don't mean to speak that way, but it's true. I also wouldn't mind at number 9, Jackson Smith-Njigba, the wide receiver out of Ohio State, who is a long-time training partner of Justin Fields. I think that just seems like a natural. Jackson Smith-Njigba is going to go in the top 15 picks. Why not take him at 9 and let him play with the guy that he's been practicing with for the last 6 years? Or so, 5 years or so. What else do we have here? Number 1 pick overall. Okay, let's stop talking about our individual teams. What's going to happen with the number 1 pick overall? The number 1 pick overall is going to go to the Carolina Panthers, and they are probably going to take a quarterback. Although, why would they trade up and not take Bryce Young? I don't know. I don't think Bryce Young is the best quarterback in the draft. I think Bryce Young might be the best college quarterback last year, but I don't know that he's the best quarterback in the draft because the NFL game is a different game than the college game. I am one of these people who have great concerns over Bryce Young's size. oh my God, man, when you look at this class of edge rushers and you think, okay, so Will Anderson Jr. is going to be a rookie at the same time as Bryce. I don't know that Bryce Young is built to take that kind of punishment because they're coming from the edge, man. They're going to be coming for you. And I worry about his size. He's an unbelievable athlete, terrific quarterback. He's got wonderful accuracy. His arm strength is there. All of the things that you need to check for a guy to be he's an NFL quarterback are there except for his size. He's tiny. He's so tiny. And I just don't know. Although I am also an old head, so I'm going back to Doug Flutie, in the other short quarterbacks that I remember. You can't be a short quarterback in the league because you need to stand in the pocket and see over the 6'5" lineman. So you can't be a little guy because you're standing still in the pocket. That's not how quarterbacks play now. So that also sort of changes my thought. I have to allow for the idea that I'm an old head, that I'm still thinking about pocket passers. And yes, if Bryce Young becomes a pocket passer who stands there, his blind side is probably going to be in danger from some insane 22-year-old edge rusher. But he can move. And quarterbacks in the NFL today can move. So it's a little bit different of a proposition. So maybe size in 2023 at the quarterback position isn't as important as it was in, say, 1986 or 1987. Bryce Young, number one, is who I believe the Carolina Panthers will take. Now, I said I don't think he's the best NFL quarterback in the draft. I think the best NFL quarterback, the best NFL-ready quarterback in the draft is C.J. Stroud. It's not even close. He's got everything. He's got the size, he's got the strength, he's got the mobility, he's got the smarts, he's got all of the things that a quarterback in the NFL needs to have in their toolbox as a rookie in order to succeed. So, I mean, if I was drafting number one, I would take C.J. Stroud number one. Anthony Richardson out of Florida is incredibly enticing, but man, his accuracy just isn't there. And he's a super athlete, no doubt, but his arm, he's got a freaking cannon. And don't even get me started on Will Levis out of Kentucky. I don't even want to consider Will Levis. Will Levis is like, let's make him a top 4 quarterback because he fits the 1979 definition of what a quarterback is going to be. Will Levis doesn't impress me. Will Levis played at Kentucky. Josh Allen came out of North Dakota State. All right. And Josh Allen is the exception that proves the rule. Brock Purdy was the last pick in the draft. And look at what okay, so maybe the rules don't matter anymore. I don't know. That's why I love the draft, because there is so many moving parts. Every argument you can make for why this guy's a bad choice, somebody else can make an argument for why they're a great choice. Number 2 pick, Texans. Texans might move off too. There's a lot. The Texans are really curious. You'd think the Texans want a quarterback, right? They're not going to roll with Davis Mills, are they? Or maybe the Texans are hoping that next year they'll lose every game and they'll get the number 1 pick, and then they'll be able to get the kid Damian. Who's the kid out of USC? Damian. I don't know. Whatever. We'll hear all about him in the next couple of months. He's going to be the big star of next year. Could the Texans go Will Anderson? Could the Texans go Will Anderson Jr., who many people are saying is the first defensive player who's going to go off the board because of the troubles with Jalen Carter? I don't know. Could they go Wilson? Yeah. Could they go? Who else could they go? I don't know. It is absolutely the Texans. You think they're going to take a quarterback, but if Bryce Young is gone and they're not sold on Stroud the way that I am, are they really going to take a Will Levis or an Anthony Richardson at number 2? I don't know. Because those guys are not number 2, can't miss. I know people are saying that about, Bryce Young, that, he could go number 1 because his upside, his ceiling is super high. Yeah, okay, but then there's the other people who are saying he's too small. And I don't understand why C.J. Stroud is dropping, but this happens all the time. This happens with Ohio State quarterbacks can't play. Justin Fields dropped. We got him at 10. Like, yeah. Yeah, thank you. We'll take him at 10. Hey, San Francisco, you took Trey Lance. How's that working out? The other interesting rumor that I'm seeing floating around started last night. Actually, it started a while ago, but it wasn't given any credibility, and now it's starting to get a little bit of credibility. And by that, I mean they're talking about it on the NFL Network. What if there was a trade worked out? What if Houston and Baltimore are working on a trade? Could Houston acquire Lamar Jackson? That would upset the draft. That would cause some craziness to go down. Number 3, Cardinals. Cardinals picking 3. I think it's the Cardinals picking 3. They want Will Anderson, but if Will Anderson is gone at 2 with the Texans, let's just say the Texans take Stroud, which they should. If I'm the Texans, I'm taking C.J. Stroud. If Bryce Young goes 1. I think there is a chance that Carolina could shock the world and take C.J. Stroud at number 1. I mean, I would, but, you know. Number three, the Cardinals, you know, they're in a tough position now with Kyler Murray. He apparently doesn't want to be there. Then, you know, there's trouble. Although, new coach, new season, new optimism. So they're certainly not moving on from Kyler Murray. Could they? Could they shock the world? Could the Arizona Cardinals shock the world and take a quarterback at number 3? I don't know. Kyler Murray's one of those little guys. Kyler Murray's not a little guy, though. Kyler Murray is short, but he's built like a brick shithouse. I mean, he's a fire plug, not like Bryce Young, who is, you know, thin and slight and looks very breakable. I don't know. Anyway, the NFL draft is tonight. It's just a few hours away. I'm getting so excited about it. Al says, talk about dedication, dude. You're going to pass 315. Awesome energy, stamina. Thank you, Al. I appreciate that. Tip accordingly. Tip accordingly for the extra effort, people. Appreciate you. You can tip at the thing below. All right, that's going to do it. I don't care. Did anything big happen in the world while I've been ranting about sports? Isn't it weird how I have never tried to do sports radio? I don't want to do sports radio. The idea of doing sports radio makes me sick. The idea I don't want to talk to the batting coach of the Rangers. I got nothing to say to him. It sounds terrible. But I think I'd enjoy it. I mean, I think some of the stuff I'd enjoy. I just don't know. I don't know. I don't like to be hemmed in. You can only talk sports. I don't do that. Really? I can't talk about Bam Margera on my sports show for 10 minutes? I want to talk about Bam Margera. I've got hot takes. Skateboarding's a sport. You know, that would be my argument. Skateboarding's a sport. He's a professional skateboarder. That's a sport. All right, folks. I love y'all. I'm gonna call it. We're gonna wrap this up. I got business to do this afternoon, so I gotta put on a suit. I gotta get all dressed up. We're gonna see if we can save this little operation here because we ain't doing so great. So tip the show if you can. We'd appreciate that. There you go. What else do I have? There we go. Little John Hinckley. I was going to check and see if anything big happened. Like, are we at war with somebody? Did anything huge? But you would have told me in the chat room, right? Let's see. Got my songs. Help me to be strong, y'all. Why is Bob Barker trending? Hold on. Bob Barker's trending. Is he dead? Okay. Oh wait, let me do the Denzel Washington meme. He's not dead. Bob Barker's not dead. All right. They're just talking about Bob Barker in relation to Jerry Springer, which I don't know. I don't know. You know what? Okay. Yahoo Sports final draft. Sorry, we're going back to the NFL draft. Yahoo Sports has just put up their final NFL draft. So let's see what they have. They got the Panthers taking Bryce Young at 1. They've got the Texans taking Will Levis. because you can never have too many Davis Mills. I'm not sold on Will Levis. I've watched the highlight tapes. Granted, I never saw a Kentucky game. I don't know. I didn't even know Kentucky even had a football team. But whatever. Cardinals taking Anderson. That's pretty much expected. Indianapolis at 4. Indianapolis at 4 going wild, getting a little crazy. They need a quarterback. They're going to go with Anthony Richardson. I consider growing up when I was younger, I always considered Indianapolis to be like our secondary team. You know, we got 2 baseball teams. We got the Cubs and the White Sox. Indianapolis is only like 90 minutes away from where I live. So it's like if I needed to go to a Colts game, I could go to a Colts game. Going to a Colts game is easy. So I've always been a little interested in following the Indianapolis Colts. Made it difficult when the Colts beat the Bears in the Super Bowl, but you know. Seahawks going to go out on a limb there at number 5, and they're going to take Jalen Carter. Oh, God. Would I love for big, fat, terrible pro day Jalen Carter to fall to number 9. I'll take Jalen Carter at number 9. You kidding me? We need a 3-tech. Bears need a 3-tech. We'll take Jalen Carter. Damn straight. Lions. Says the Lions at number 6 are going to take Devin Witherspoon, cornerback out of Illinois. That's weird because Christian Gonzalez is considered the number 1 ranked cornerback in this draft. Witherspoon out of Illinois is number 2, but it's got number 2 going before number 1. How far does Christian Gonzalez out of Oregon fall? I don't even see him. There we go. Okay, so Seattle Seahawks take Jalen Carter. Detroit Lions, they take Devin Witherspoon, thankfully, because the Detroit Lions are in my division, and they've already got Aiden Hutchinson, and I don't want them adding another Will Anderson or Jalen Carter. I don't need that. And most importantly, Justin Fields doesn't need that. The Raiders are taking, the Raiders are taking Tyree Wilson out of Tech, the edge. All right. So the Raiders are taking an edge because the top 2 corners are off the board. That makes sense because the Raiders really need corner help. They need safeties. They need second. As we heard last night on the show, Ice Cube was ranting about who he thinks. We played a tape of Ice Cube yesterday on the show ranting about who he wants his Raiders to take. And it looks, according to this mock draft, both of the top cornerbacks are going to be off the board, so the Raiders are going to go with an edge rusher. Steelers at 8 via Atlanta Falcons. They take Ohio State's Paris Johnson Jr. Excuse me. I hate this. I hate this. Steelers taking a lineman at 8, Paris Johnson Jr. All right, that's fine. But this one really makes me sick to my freaking stomach. Chicago Bears at number 9, Northwestern's Peter Skoronski, offensive tackle out of Northwestern. Hey, let's draft a left tackle out of a school that absolutely sucks at football, and he's a left tackle, and everyone knows that his arms are too short, so when we draft him as a left tackle, we're going to have to immediately move him to the interior. Let's do that with the number 9 pick. Let's do that. Or why don't we draft an offensive lineman at number 9 who's already had a knee surgery and wears 2 knee braces? Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that at number 9. That'll be good. 8 and 9. 8 and 9, we've got 2 linemen. The first lineman go off the board. 8 to Pittsburgh Steelers, Paris Johnson Jr., and 9 to the Chicago Bears, Northwestern's Peter Skoronski. Rounding out the top 10, Philadelphia Eagles via the New Orleans Saints. Oh, are you kidding me? The Eagles are the ones who are getting Christian Gonzalez, according to this draft. This guy has got to be a Philadelphia Eagles fan. Whoever made this, because I don't believe Christian Gonzalez is going to drop to number 10. I think he's going to go, according to this draft, the Lions took the kid out of Illinois. So I don't know. All right, so now let me see who they got. Who are they mocking to the Cowboys? Let's see. Okay, all right. I don't know who this is. I don't go this deep in the draft, all right? But he's probably one of the top 5 corners in the draft. Although, no, because the Giants are taking a corner. Minnesota is taking a corner. So there's a lot of corners going off the board before we get to the Cowboys. The Cowboys are taking cornerback Emmanuel Forbes out of Mississippi State. Don't just be like, what? Don't be like that. Don't be like that, because you don't know dick, because I don't know dick. Let me tell you a quick little draft story. When was this? Probably 99, 98. I don't know, somewhere in there. We were at Johnny's 83 for a draft party. Lamont, Illinois. Right there. A place called Johnny's 83. And they had a draft party, and a bunch of friends went up there. Now, this was before the NFL draft became what the NFL draft is now. It was still big, but it was done over the weekend, and it wasn't in prime time. You know what I mean? It was just... So we went to Johnny's 83 to watch the draft. And the Chicago Bears took their first-round pick. And they took a dude... And we were so fucking mad. We were like, who? What? You took a white safety out of New Mexico? We were so angry that the Bears drafted Brian Urlacher. So, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. We're like, a white safety out of New Mexico. He also returned kicks. So we're going to get a white safety returning kicks No, obviously history proved that Brian Urlacher moved to the middle linebacker position and became one of the greatest linebackers of his generation. So, we don't know dick. So let's just see how this plays out. Oh, draft night, bitches. I have to go out and run around and I have to do stuff. But if I didn't have to go out and run around and do stuff, I would watch draft day. Okay, bye everybody. Love draft day. Love it. Eating pancakes. It's a line from draft day. What you doing? Just having breakfast? Eating pancakes? Bye everybody. Bye. Shadoobie. Shadoobie doop dop. So baffling.